live again after I just threatened Josh off mic.
Guys,
Josh,
he threatened my life. Don't ever listen to him. He's a liar.
Lane and Gus are upstairs watching a movie right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some context clues. I want you to try and guess what movie it is. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do this.
Blue cheese is used as a story point. Everything is white, including my father. Dogs.
I don't know. Blue cheese is part of the story. What had blue cheese in it?
Do you want someone who was in the movie?
Yes, give me someone who's in the movie.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Radio?
No, it's not radio. You get one more guess.
Oh God. Snow Dogs.
Yes, there you go. Ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding. You
yes.
get it. You know,
It's the only two movies I can think of.
Cuba Gooding gets shit on for that time of his life with films. I think he did that movie called Love Boat, and then he did Snow Dogs, and he was on a bad roll, or he was
the Adam Sandler at the time where he just kept saying yes to everything.
Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. But Snow Dogs, I was watching a little bit of it when I went upstairs. It's not bad. Like that line where his adoptive mom calls him. She's like, "Oh, how's Alaska?" And he's like, "Everything's white, including my father." And then his dad's like a guy named Thunder Jack. And there was a scene I just saw where like there are two like slick punk guys. Like they had like the red hair, the red spiked hair, like the mohawks. It's like, oh God, this movie is so 2002. Like if you didn't have a mohawk in your movie, were you making a movie in 2002?
The only parts of that movie I can remember are there's two things I can remember in general. He's a dentist.
Yep.
And to finally listen to him, or the lead dog, he has to bite its ear, and he finally does it, but he's so hesitant about it. That's the only two things I remember.
I'm glad you brought up the ear thing, because like Thunder Jack tells him like if you want the dog to listen, you gotta bite it in the ear. And then they're in the cave like freezing to death, and he's finally like, I forget what the ghost is. It Ghost? I think the dog is named Ghost.
I think it's Ghost.
And he looks menacing. By the way, all the dogs in that movie are probably dead by now, just in case you were wondering.
It's been like 20 years, Nick. I'm sure they're all dead. And their children are probably
every last
dead.
one of them. I'm sure there's a bunch of like talent attached to that movie that is no longer with us. Rest in peace. But so he bites him in the ear, and Thunderjack turns to him and is like, "I just said it. I didn't think anyone was ever dumb enough to do it."
And then somehow that actually works.
I like to think that Cuba Gooding Jr. gave a beautiful eulogy at Thunderjack's funeral 10 years after the settings of Snow Dogs. Like the sequel would be him going back and reading off his eulogy. And there'd be another race, like the race that Thunderjack never got a chance to race. He left it to his one and only son. Cuba Gooding is Snow Dogs 2.
I was just waiting for the part where he finally snaps and just uses like all the animals' teeth around him to make these makeshift weapons and hunts people down.
Well, he does have expertise with teeth, so he could do it. He was
like, he fashions like a knife out of like dog teeth, just slits the throats of his enemies, paint the snow red.
You're all gonna die. There was a good point in the mid 2010s where I think Cuba Gooding was getting cast really well. He was in a season of American Horror Story, which people dislike this season, but it was like the season that was like kind of like a reality show.
Yeah.
And so like they had the person he was playing, and then they had him. So it was just it was very meta, like commenting on like ghost documentaries and stuff like that. And then he was in the OJ trial show, the American Crime Story. And he was really convincing. Really convincing.
He was also he had a really small part in that that World War II movie.
Which one?
Oh,
there's so many, Josh.
The one where
1917?
No.
That's not World War II.
The one that like shows Pearl Harbor.
Was this a recent movie?
No, it was back in like probably 2005.
I'm blanking.
I don't think it's called Pearl Harbor, but he had a really small part. Like he was literally.
Oh, are you talking about are you talking about A Few Good Men?
No. I think it is actually called Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. I feel like Pearl Harbor was like 99, Josh. I'm gonna need you to Google that real quick.
Yeah, I might have to because I can't think of it off the top
Now,
of my
if you
head right now.
Google what year was Pearl Harbor, it's going to give you the actual year. It's not going to give you the movie year. So Google Pearl Harbor
It
movie
was 2001. Never mind.
2001. Okay. Yeah, that
I thought it was '05 for some reason because it was like one of Ben Affleck's last good movies before he went downhill.
I think 2002 to 2005 was just a rough patch for Cuba cuz like the 90s, like he did Jerry Maguire, he was in a few good, like he could do no wrong. And then the 2000s happened to him and he basically was like the Limp Bizkit of acting. Josh, what do you
Yeah.
think of I know we should get started, but what do you think of Sony buying Bungie? My initial reaction, and I know this has been everyone's crappy hot take, was they should just do a Killzone for the lulz.
So like I thought about it, I sat there and I was just like, don't get me wrong, Destiny 2 has a huge fan base.
I hate
I
Destiny.
understand and they're
I
loyal.
hate both games so much.
I do too because they promised us so much and we got shit on.
You
And
gave
plus, I
us-
don't want to try.
You gave us a boring ass Peter Dinklage. You made Peter Dinklage boring, Bungie. How did you do that? And then you replaced him with what was that? Nolan North or Nathan Nolan or one of the Nolan brothers or something. I don't know.
But so I'm sitting here going like, okay, so we went from buying a huge company that has two huge fan bases, World of Warcraft and Call of Duty. You go to Bungie, who has another huge fan base, and then I don't know if you saw the tweet from Nintendo. They came up and like, oh, I guess we're late to this. Oh, all the good stuff's gone. Okay, I guess we'll just buy EA.
Wait, Nintendo tweeted that for real, or was that like a fake?
No, Nintendo North America apparently tweeted that.
No one good left. I guess we'll buy EA. No, Nintendo's move would be like to buy someone they've been working with forever, and you're like, they didn't own them. Like I was listening to another show, and they're like, yeah, Nintendo should probably just buy Game Freak. And I was like, I was like, they don't own them yet?
Yeah, I thought for sure. I thought they would have owned them by now.
Another one I saw coming up was Retro Studios, but I think they bought them. I'm pretty sure they bought them at one point.
So the big thing everybody's talking about right now is they think that Square might get bought next. They're not sure by who. They said either going to buy by Sony or by Nintendo. But apparently that's the power move right now. Is you just buy these big companies and incorporate them into your own big company.
This is like Doomsday Watch, and people were like, "Oh, the Bungie news. Like, oh wow, you went and got that after Active." Like the Sony Bungie stuff was probably in talks same time as the Activision Microsoft talks.
Yeah, they probably like got like hints of it like happened. They're like, okay, shit, we got to hurry up and like do something because as soon as Xbox bought Activision and Blizzard, Sony's profit went down significantly. So they knew
like
if they had
the actual stock prices went down.
Yeah, their stock prices went down. I don't remember how much, but not enough to significantly impact them. So they're like, shit, we gotta hurry up and do something to counteract this.
It might have just moved up their announcement. They might have been like, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Like, it wouldn't be a dunk because, yeah, you're buying the studio that did Halo, but I mean, how many people there were actually involved?
Well, that's the other funny thing is they were talking about how Bungie was its own thing, then Microsoft bought them, and then they sold out, and then Sony bought them, and now it's like it was like a little meme picture of like someone coming back going, "I want you back, baby,
come back." Well, and Sony buying them. It's funny when you see your like non-gaming friends like see the news and they're like, "Oh my god, Halo for PlayStation," and you're like, "Oh, you poor sweet child, you don't know." Microsoft has the license, buddy. I'm sorry.
Not only that, but Bungie hasn't done anything Halo since 2000.
When was Reach? 12? Was Reach 12?
No, it was before that even, I think.
It might have been 2010 because we finished the fight in 2007.
I think they had like some help with Halo 4, or they did some help with 343, but it wasn't enough to give them like any like credit.
So we finished the fight in 2007. ODST was 2009 because 2009 was a slow. ODST was the big release of 2009. Let me point, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and we'll get to 2009 when we get there. But yeah, I think 2010 was Reach because then it was either 2011 or 2012 was 4. Yeah, because 4 came out 4 was like the swan song for the 360.
Yeah, I remember going to that. I remember going to a Walmart tournament, trying to win a copy of it, and we lost in
And
the
you
first round.
lost.
And Jordan still brings it up to this day. So
Josh smashed the controller and said, "They put too much Call of Duty in my Halo.
no,
Sprint buttons?
I
Sprint buttons?"
I specifically remember yelling at the guys, "You're fucking cheaters! He's cheating!"
Because people hated Reach like multiplayer loadouts, but I loved the loadouts with like the different abilities. I thought
I
those were
think Reach,
great.
I think Reach was the last good multiplayer that they gave us.
And then the needler rifle thing was so freaking sweet. Like,
Oh, that was
oh
the like the like since they introduced that, that's like my go-to gun.
is
I
that
don't even need
is that
anything
in
else.
Infinite? I haven't played Infinite yet.
Uh, you've played. I mean,
I
you've
played the
played it, but it's
multiplayer.
not enough. Yeah, I don't think it is. I can't remember. It's been. I mean, it's been hot minute since I played it.
Yeah, we all jumped in when it came out in December, and I don't think any of us have touched it since then.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we've been talking for 10 minutes. Everybody, this is Smashing Game Time. I am Nick. That is
And I am. Let me say my name. I am Josh.
that is Josh. We are Smashing Game Time. We like to sit here and talk about the games that came out in the year that they came out. It's right above me. We're doing 2004 today. Josh,
Yes.
what do you think of 2004?
Honestly, I slept on this one as well. Even though when we were talking about off the air, I mean, I missed like 3 big games. But I think, in my defense, I think our resources are not as well up to date as they could be.
Yeah, I think our teachers back in high school that were like, "Don't use Wikipedia," they're kind of they're making a little more sense now.
Yeah, I mean,
But you know,
yeah,
we bounced back. You know, we missed Vice City in 2002, but we circled back. We got it. We came
we
through.
got the PC release in
We
2003.
got the PC release, so technically we got it. Before we get started, everybody, we love that you're listening. If you are, we would love for you to stop by wherever you listen to your podcast, rate and review us, especially on Apple, because they love that stuff. Apple loves their stars. And there's already a lovely review under there from yours truly. I've been waiting for Josh to get me back in the reviews with something spicy.
Oh, don't worry, I'm cooking something.
So again, if you're liking what you're hearing and you want to rate and review us, it's the best way you can support the show, and it's free, and you're only spending like maybe 2 minutes doing it, so we would really appreciate it. That would make our day, and we'd even go as far as to read some reviews on the show. Josh is great at reading. He just got his reading certificate. He doesn't have it on him because he lost it. But he's so smart. Oh, you can if you're listening to on audio, Josh is hanging his head in shame, trying to read his crypt
I'm
notes, but he
dumb.
doesn't have the certificate anymore, so he can't read anymore. That's how it works. That's how it works.
There's a reason Nick has to proofread everything before we submit it, guys.
Josh, you spelt wow wrong. Damn it, Josh. Before we get started, are you playing Wordle?
No, I'm thankfully not. I tried it one time, and after that, I don't care.
It's,
I'm not.
it's
It's a fad.
the aspect of it that I'm starting to like. I used to hate the people sharing their blocks, but it kind of makes it a lot more fun because you get like the narrative of like what that person went through. Like today, I won't spoil today's word. We're recording on a Sunday. We'll be out on Monday, so the word will be gone by then. But today's word was skill. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm saying today's word was skill. And so, Josh is so mad. He's like, I was going to do it today. I was going to do it.
I'm gonna turn around and do it.
But so like I got like the S, I got everything but the K. And it was just me sitting there trying to guess. And like I saw 4 other people like go through the same thing. I was like, oh, you felt my pain. So it's just that shared camaraderie of like these fucking words.
Okay, so the reason I don't enjoy it, besides the fact that everybody else does it, and I hate being so much of a sheep. Like I get it, I'll be a sheep every once in a while.
Says the man on a podcast
Right. And I have an iPhone, so there we go.
with an iPhone.
But so my thing is, this is currently a fad. We all know this is a fad.
Mhm.
But you know when someone during the fad comes out and says, "Oh, we're gonna buy it," and they do. So New York Times.
Mad,
I mean,
mad respect
and
to the guy who like just did it for his wife or his girlfriend and was like, I'm gonna build this nice thing, and then it picked up, and now he's like a multimillionaire. Like, good on him.
not only that, so good for him, but at the same time, New York Times. Oh yeah, so this thing that's currently free, you're gonna have to pay a subscription to do it now.
Yeah, well, and they're being cute about it. Like, it'll stay free for a little bit, but we got this little game thing, and you can get your crossword, your Wordle.
Yeah, so
And
they're gonna kill this fad. This fad. I mean, you think this would just progressively over time stop and we wouldn't see any more? No, basically as soon as it goes to cost or is announced going cost, it's gonna stop. No one's gonna sit there and pay a subscription for it.
When people are getting pissy about people getting like, people are like, well, you shouldn't be mad that Wordle sold. That man got paid. Be happy he got paid. And it's like, you can be happy that he got paid and hate that like capitalism came in and said Wordle is ours now.
Yeah,
Create,
so
add revenue.
if anything, I'm jealous the guy got paid. I'm happy for him. He deserves it. I mean, honestly, it's a huge. I mean, I remember just seeing it one day on my feed, and I'm like, what is Wordle? So I had to look at Andy and go, babe, what is Wordle? She goes, oh, it's this, and she showed me, and I'm like,
So Andy is playing it. Andy is playing every day. Sorry, closing words on Wordle. Closing Wordles.
it's a terrible fad. I mean, it's a great fad for the guy and his family. He deserves it. I mean, it's simple, but I know it's something even that simple takes a lot of work. So congratulations to him.
Congrats to him. I personally like it because I'm the kind of person who wants to do crosswords or Sudoku in the morning, and they take way too long. Like Wordle is like the quick version of those to me.
It's like the warm up to him.
Yeah. Whereas the crossword, I'm sitting there like, what is this word I don't know that I'm gonna have to look up in the dictionary? All right, everybody. Josh, you ready to look at 2004?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. So starting out, January 13th, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. This was the last CRPG for Fallout, right?
Yeah, I think that is the last one.
Because this wasn't always Bethesda, right? This was some smaller team, or was this always a Bethesda gig?
No, I thought it was always a Bethesda thing.
This is just where they were like, they did this and they were like, all right, let's hold off. Let's work on a shooter RPG for the next 4 years.
And it actually smacked. So
and it smacked. We'll get to that smacking when we get there. Jumping all the way to February, because January used to be the slow time. February 9th, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles came out for the GameCube. This was something new because I mean, besides Game Boy, I don't think Square was putting out a lot on GameCube, right?
Yeah, I think that this was one of the only GameCube games they released, actually.
Because yeah,
for
the longest time, Square was a second-party exclusive to Sony.
That, and they were releasing a lot more content for the Game Boy Advance at this time as well. They had all their basically like all the I say remasters because they weren't remasters at the time, but they were for the Game Boy Advance. So you had like 1 through 6 throughout the Game Boy Advance throughout time, and then Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. So, like, yeah, this is like the only GameCube game I think they actually came out with, or at least Final Fantasy title-wise. There may have been like maybe 1 or 2 other GameCube games, but this is like the only big one I could think of.
And we were talking about this before the show started. This was one of the GameCube games where, like, if you wanted to play multiplayer, the other people had to have not only a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Advance SP, they also had to have the little connector cord, which was another $20.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a cheap game.
Oh, it was not. I just think that's what made them fail. Because, like I said, I remember playing it, and because we had one cable, so we were only able to do 2 people.
Right.
And I remember we're playing it, and it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it was hard. I was a kid and didn't like it. As an adult, I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but I'm also not going to drop $50 for it on the Switch. I'll wait till it's like 20 if I'm lucky, and then maybe if I pick it up.
Does that come out this year? Or is it already out?
It's already out.
It's already out. I can never tell with like these Switch re-releases because they'll announce them and then like time flies and then you like look back and you're like, oh, is that out now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's already out. And actually, that video we just watched, because I couldn't find any good ones. Was
the new one. I was gonna say that water looked really good for 2004.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it was just their connection or how they were showing it, but there are parts if you watch it that they're like, you can see one person lagging. He'll be like carrying the pot, and then all of a sudden he like stops, and then he moves like halfway across the map, and he's like dragging his buddy along, because if you get into that barrier around it, you would get stuck and you could get pulled, or you wouldn't be able to move anywhere.
Fun fact about the bucket: Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is not the only game with like a little ring that's protecting you, but we'll get to that other one later. I hated that mechanic though. It was basically a an escort mission.
Yeah, essentially it was. And even then, you have to one person has to carry the pot and the other one has to fight. That's basically what it was. And I was
Right.
like, this is stupid. Get rid of
Metroid
the
Prime
pot and
2
maybe.
Echoes kind of had a similar thing, and I was just like, this is dumb.
But
Like,
that was better.
that
They
one
did it better with that.
that one fit into the story a lot better, and mechanically it was like you weren't carrying something, but you still had to like you were still confined basically to these
Right.
areas until like you got an upgrade. Also out on February 9th, the Metroid remake, Metroid Zero Mission, which when we played that, was that back in September? That
That was forever ago.
felt bad. It felt
I
so
I
bad.
still I still enjoyed it. I mean,
I,
it nothing will beat Fusion and Metroid. Those two I've played so much and I'm so used to them that
even with Dread out now, I think Fusion is still, and I'm the Super Metroid heads are gonna come for me. They're gonna take me, and you're never gonna see me again. But I think Fusion
Mhm.
is the best playing, just the overall best Metroid experience.
Oh, you
Minus all the talking to your little robot guy. If there was a lot less of that, I think people would be on my same bandwagon and be like, hey, this is the Metroid, this one right here.
Super Metroid's where it at is where it always will be.
You're just saying that from a speedrunner's
No,
speedrunner's perspective.
I'm saying that from ever. Like it's the best. It is the best Metroid game ever.
If it's so good, why haven't they remade it, Josh? Huh? Can't make any
Because
money
if
off
they
that Super
if
Metroid.
if they ever remake it, it'll be the death of that game.
No. I think people would flock to it. If they
Oh, it would be the Resident Evil 3 of the franchise. You would hate the original Resident Evil 3, but then you get the remake thinking, oh, it's gonna be so good, and then you play it and you're like, oh my god, this is shit, and then people appreciate the original 3 even more.
see people wanted the Samus Returns. Like people like the Samus Returns remake for 3DS for some reason. I don't know why.
Honestly, it was like the hardest one we've ever played.
It was it was a pain in the ass. Like the level design was awful. But I think if you gave that Super Metroid the Switch treatment and just prettied it up and made it look like Dread, made it look like
Put it on the same engine as Dread.
same engine as Dread, like gave it to what is that, the Mercury team or whatever they're
Yeah.
called. Give it to them and do like what else are you gonna do with it? You've already kind of said you weren't planning on doing another 2D Metroid, and Retro Studios is tripping over its balls to make Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's honestly, it'll never happen, and if it does, it's because they got bought out by a different company, and Nintendo doesn't give a shit anymore.
I don't think Prime 4 will come out for the Switch. I think it'll come out for whatever's coming after the Switch.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly, we'll see Prime for the Switch, and I think that's as far as we'll get for Metroid
All right.
for this. Yeah. Anyway,
The next
moving
day, of course, you put this damn game on here, Josh. So, do you want to give the game is Nightshade? It came out on February 10th. Josh, give him the backstory. Give him the lore.
So one year I bought this game and I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was like I think it was actually like my first game I actually purchased with my own money. I was so excited about it. I come home one day and I want to play it. Can't find it.
What happened?
Come to find out, Nicholas is a terrible brother at the time and let us just take all of our stuff and sell it. And he sold my Nightshade. How much did you get for it, Nick?
Probably like $10.
And I spent 60 on it.
So this is basically one of those what was it, like a Shinobi? It's a Shinobi game, like, right? It's a
Yeah.
spiritual successor to Shinobi. And fun fact, this actually came out around the same time as I think it's Ninja Gaiden, right?
Yeah.
So you had this. Oh wow, that video is really shaky, and it's off center. Hold on, real quick editor's note. I'm fixing this. There we go.
Which honestly, now that I look at it, obviously the game is very dated and
But
the
no,
story wasn't
let's.
that good.
It's only been 17 years, Josh. Let's dig into this pain. When did you start feeling like this towards your brother?
It started when he took my crutches from me, made me fall on the floor, and beat me with my own crutches.
Oh, there was that other time I kicked you to a closet and kicked you through the bottom of the closet.
Oh yeah, there was that, and then I got in trouble for it, not you.
Well, you went through the closet, Josh.
Yeah, well, you kicked me and pushed me in the closet. What was I supposed to do?
How I was just kicking you. How was I supposed to know that you were going to go through the closet? That was on you.
I don't know how that was on me.
But I mean, if you're watching the video, we've got Nightshade up. Like, I'm gonna need everyone support to let me know that like Nick, it's okay that you sold this game because this has been haunting me for 17. What did I say? 17 years now.
17 years, yeah.
Look at that! Look at that figure just standing there on that jet, Josh.
Hey, because he died. That was cool.
Eh,
You can't say no. You don't get to sit here and act like you're all innocent. You know what you did.
Josh, there's a reason it hasn't been HD remade.
You've got a point. I'll give you. Like I said, at the time I was a kid, though. Like, first off, how could you not sit here and enjoy the fact you could kick a missile back? I mean, that's so awesome at the time. Now, obviously, like I said, very outdated. However, for 2004, this was awesome
I have to disagree. You know why?
because of the next game.
Because of the next game that came out. Hell, like the March 2, so not even a full month out. Ninja Gaiden. I've heard it both ways.
I call it Gaiden because that's what I hear most.
I wouldn't say spiritual. So Ninja Gaiden was a 2D gem back in the day, and then they were like, "Oh, hey, we can make this a big boy." And yes, it looks like shit now, but this was awesome, and this game's hard as hell.
Yeah, I think honestly, the only one I've beaten was 3, and that's just because it was so like they made it so easy that I think that's what killed the game or the franchise.
Something's killing my internet right now. I'll tell you that much.
Like everybody that wouldn't shut up about the first one. They talked about the first one so much they made like 3 different versions for it, and then you had 2. Everybody wouldn't shut up about that. They made 3 more versions of it, and then you had 3, and then all of a sudden everybody got real quiet real quick.
3 was like, guys, we're gonna need to dial this. But yeah, 3 had some weird mechanics in it. Didn't it have like bone breaking or something like that?
Yeah, I think bone breaking. They had actually, I think they inserted difficulty on there so you can make it really easy. Even like in the hardest difficulty, I think it was like super easy. But like I said, there's a reason no one talks about 3. I mean, it's terrible.
We
Like
don't talk about 3.
it's like if like take Dark Souls for example. People love Dark Souls not only because of how hard it is, but because of the design. And then it's like Ninja Gaiden. We want the difficulty. We want the same design, the same flow, and everything. And then you change the formula. Like, hey, just to make these corporate guys happy and to get a bigger crowd, we're gonna screw the fan base completely and make it really terrible. And then now nobody talks about it. It's like if you're gonna do that, make it to where everybody who didn't talk about it before is now talking about it.
When I think wasn't the code for this version of the game was lost. Like you can't find the code for this version of the game. If you wanted like Ninja Gaiden Black, which was like the second version of this game, they have it. They don't have the source code for like the version that we're looking at right now, which is crazy to me. Back up your files, folks. Back them up.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I think they did have a backup, and it was lost too. I think something had happened and wiped all of their servers.
As a screenwriter and someone who does a lot of video production with this podcast and other stuff, 4 backups. Have 4 backups at all times.
Just go make it a 5th. Just make it a 5th, just to be safe. You never know.
And then have a Google Drive or I almost call it SoundCloud. What's the other one? Save Cloud. I forget the other one's called.
Just cloud. Use clouds and regular hardware.
Trust the cloud. Trust the cloud with your stuff.
Moving on.
Back up your saves. Moving on. So then we get into March 9th. Oh my God, March 9th. Metal Gear Solid, another remake. Still crazy to think like we're at a point where like remakes are coming out less than 5 or 6 years after the original.
Yeah.
So this is Shadow Moses, baby. And it looks so good. Like they just are like, hey, you like Metal Gear Solid 2? And it was like, yeah. Hey, you like Metal Gear Solid 1? Yeah. What if we dipped Metal Gear Solid 2 into your Metal Gear Solid 1?
Okay.
And that's what they did. And like, I think it's great. The only issue I have with it, it's only on the GameCube.
Yeah, and I guess that was maybe the exclusive rights. I guess maybe
Nintendo was aggressively getting these like awesome exclusives, and it's kind of nuts because like if an awesome game is coming out, it's usually like, oh, only on Xbox and PlayStation. And then you get this weird exclusive like Metal Gear or like the Resident Evil remake, which it bugs me that so Resident Evil remake is now on everything you can get. You could probably play it on a Generation 2 Zune or something if you still have one of those laying around.
I mean, you're not wrong.
This game, you either have to dig out the GameCube and play it or emulate it.
But I mean that there's a reason why people say GameCube is the best console of that time. I mean, the exclusives alone were just fantastic.
I see, but I look back at those three consoles and I look at the exclusives, and I don't think GameCube stacks up as well as people think it does.
Oh no, because if you compare it to, it's like, for example, PlayStation 2, you had basically all the Ratchet and Clanks, you had all the Jacks, you had a majority of like the Resident Evil games. It's like great, yeah, those are all great and fantastic. Then you look at Xbox, you had a bunch of these new exclusive companies. You had Halo, you had, um, um, help me out here, I'm drawing blanks.
Splinter Cell was kind of like in a weird spot with them where they kind of had like some exclusive deals with Ubisoft for like getting Splinter Cell first.
But I guess, yeah, if you think about it first, I mean, even the multiplayer was more exclusive on that than it was on the PS2. So yeah, I mean, you had all these games, but then if you compare it, just like if you're talking like what is more talked about in general, it's unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, because I enjoyed the GameCube, but it was the GameCube.
I mean, if you look at this bubble though, like I think the last 3 episodes that we've done, like you've seen a lot of great GameCube games, and you're gonna see like I think after this, I think there's like one more banger on there, and it kind of dries up. And then 2005, the well is very dry. So Wii doesn't come out till 2006, so this is kind of like the GameCube, like going out, like Nintendo's like, hey, we don't have anything because Mario Sunshine's already come out, so Galaxy's a few years away still.
Yep.
I think Twilight Princess was still like. But maybe this was the year with the awesome like Twilight Princess announcement. We should definitely pull that video, by the way. The Miyamoto coming out with the sword.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this was the year that they announced it.
I will, while we're talking, I'll pull it up and stuff and have it in the notes and everything.
But yeah, this was GameCube on its last leg. And freaking... So the thing that bugs me about this game is that Konami has put out like an HD like collection of 2 and 3 and Peace Walker. Or Portable Ops or whatever it was. There's the handheld ones always confuse me. But this one, like you couldn't have put this one in that collection. Like Konami, hello, come on, Konami.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the works.
When you're pulling up that video, double check the year on that for me. But yeah, so I mean, it's a great game. Revolver Ocelot's probably one of my favorite antagonists of all times. Of all time, and got my favorite line from a video game. Oh, hi, D, Colonel. What are the Russians doing here? All right, so that same day, on March 9th,
2000. It says E3 2004 2005. By the way, sorry.
Okay, so we'll pull that up when we get to the news.
I got him in there.
Have it ready. Tom Clancy's Battlefield. What a world we'd live in if that were a thing. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3 Athena sword. Josh, was there anything stand out about this? It's not
really.
DLC, but it's kind of, was it a standalone game?
It was technically as a standalone game, but it was like that weird PC thing where it's like it has its own disc and stuff. You don't have to have the original game to play it type deal.
Well, because whenever I think of like things like this for Rainbow Six 3, I think it was called Broken Shield.
Yeah, so it's basically, you know how they did like Half-Life 2 Part 1, Part 2, stuff like that. It was its own game. It's essentially that. It's its own game, but it's just a continuation of it.
It's Rainbow Six.
It's Rainbow Six, everyone.
Rainbow Six before they became a hero shooter. Wow. Yeah. Go back to 2004 and tell them that. Like, watch like Tom Clancy fans' heads explode. We'll edit that in. We'll edit my head exploding in later. Continuing through March 14th was Battlefield Vietnam. I remember reviews of this just because you could drive in the car, turn on like some rock music, and your guy would like bob his head. That's all I remember about this game.
Yeah, I mean, Battlefield at the time, I mean, it wasn't like it's not as huge as it used to be, and it's definitely not what it currently is. But it was definitely getting to the point where it's like it was a strong competitor for a shooter, for sure.
You know, the older I get, the more I see like World War II shooters, Vietnam shooters, and I'm like, we're making a video game based off like the trauma of like all these different soldiers. Like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, capitalism at its finest right there for you.
Capitalism, baby. If it bleeds, it leads.
Jesus.
March 16th, Unreal Tournament 2004. You know, the older I get, I think of all those poor souls that went through Unreal Tournament, and I think we're profiting off of the trauma of all these Unreal Tournament. No, uh, I remember the boarding in this one. They had like the board, like a little board you could ride.
Honestly, I think the last one I played was that one that came out for the 360, and then from there I don't see the appeal of it. I guess I was just never in that into that.
I think it was an arena shooter at the height of arena shooters. So I mean, it was this and Quake. I feel like were the
Yeah,
two big ones. Counter Strike was out, but I don't really. Is Counter Strike considered an arena shooter?
I don't think it is. At least definitely not now. Not CS:GO is definitely not an arena shooter. It's
Because
far from it.
so I think arena shooter. I just think the fast paced, like action packed play of Quake and Unreal.
Yeah,
I don't. Counter
maybe
Strike doesn't feel fast. Counter Strike's like poke your head.
maybe original Counter Strike, or even maybe a little bit of Counter Strike Source. But yeah, nowadays it's definitely not a fast paced shooter. It's more of a team based shooter.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, I never got into the arena shooters, but also now I'm too old to do it. My fast twitch reflexes aren't there. I'm slow. Moving on to March 23rd, Far Cry, before it was bastardized and everywhere, and they went and got Gus Fring from Breaking Bad to be the bad guy. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, whoa, he's a bad guy. This looks fine. Like,
your video's not showing.
I know, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for the editorial, Josh.
Hey, I'm just trying to help out here.
For our listeners, the video is not now it is. This looks fine. I know Far Cry didn't really take off until 2.
It's very outdated, clearly, but I mean, it's them perfecting their craft at the time, or starting their craft technically, I guess.
Oh man, this looks rough.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, didn't Far Cry didn't become a household name, and honestly, until 3. 2 was like where it's like it picked up and everybody was talking about it a little bit. 3 is where you saw everybody wouldn't shut up about it.
2 had some like Forge type stuff that people really liked.
Yeah, I remember playing 2. I even did the multiplayer a little bit and enjoyed it, but I would say 3 is where everybody knew what Far Cry was, and 4 it was basically kind of like the same thing as 3. Nothing really changed except for the baddie, and then.
You know, the only one I've beaten is 4, and it's because I did that thing where you just wait in there for 20 minutes and then the game ends. So technically, I've beaten 4.
I've technically beaten 5. I did the same thing where you just sit there and you don't arrest them and walk away.
5 has the same type of thing where, like, at the beginning, you can
Yep,
like end the game.
Spoiler alert: if you don't arrest him, that's an ending.
Oh, I love that Ubisoft did it once, and they're like, they were that goofy meme, like, I'll fucking do it again.
I'll do it again.
Josh, Disney's gonna come for us. Stop it.
It was not Disney; it's Nintendo.
Oh,
We got
Josh,
2 fronts in that one.
I know why you put this next one. So March 31st, Resident Evil Outbreak. One of our brother Matt, one of his favorite games of all time.
He won't shut up about it. It's this and Freedom Fighters.
Weren't you trying to do a server for him? Or
we did have it set up at the time they shut down their servers because they were working on them. I think since then they have fixed it, because I know General Sam even did a video about it with his friends. So I'm gonna try and get on there with Matt before he leaves, so that way he can play it
before he goes to, as he calls it, Saudi Arabia.
Yes,
Matt's going to marry a Saudi prince, and we will be wealthy.
Yes,
and you will never see us podcasting again. I mean, this looks fine. I think it's kind of tough pulling it off with the camera angles. You're just asking for a whole, like, the camera angles were hard by yourself. You're asking for a whole heap of mesh when you're asking a bunch of people with shoddy internet to fumble around with these weird camera angles while they're getting eaten alive.
Yeah, so I mean, in the end, this was their first attempt of a multiplayer game, and it wasn't, like I said, it was the camera angles was probably the only downside. Obviously, each character has different stats. So, like, the guy they're showing now, he's good with weapons, and I think he actually starts out with. I think he starts out with a knife. I think he starts out with a knife, and then you have like a security officer who has a gun. Somebody starts off with medicines, and like they have all these different stuff. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, yes, the PS2 at the time had some terrible, terrible servers. But if you were to take this now and you play it on the custom servers people have made, it's actually really fun.
Well, and I like this.
Uh,
I like the scenarios they built into this one, and then this they did. It was well received well enough for them to do a sequel.
yeah,
And
which had similar. It had some like it was like not remakes, but like some of them were like the same maps. But then they introduced new ones like the zoo. The zoo was probably the coolest
the
one.
zoo was cool because you turn a corner and then like a freaking giraffe or an elephant came after you.
Yeah,
Or like I
yeah.
really liked. I don't remember if it's from this one or the second one, but the hospital in the woods where the guy with the axe chased you.
I think that is the second one.
And they did really good with the lore in it. Like that one, like the guy, like his wife died in the hospital and was like eaten by a plant, and he was protecting her, so he would chop you up and feed you to the plant. And it was cool. And this
And
desk
it
is
was really
broken.
good. It was really good. And then the only thing I can remember is that they actually tied it in with the plot to all the other Resident Evils. Like as this is going on, like where we're seeing it right now, it's like the start of Resident Evil 3.
Hmm.
So it's like actually it's before Resident Evil 3. So it's like as the outbreak is happening, and 3 is set like 24 hours, I think, after the outbreak hits the city.
Yeah, that 3-2 timeline was always confusing.
Well, yeah, it goes that, and then at the end of 3 is like so basically when Jill becomes infected, that's the start of Resident Evil 2 because they're almost like back to back at that point.
Because then, yeah, when Jill wakes up, then 2 is ended by then.
No. So as Jill is escaping is the end of 2 because the nuke hits the city. So
Okay, so
when
they're
Jill is
just
sick, so basically when Jill becomes infected, that's when Leon and Claire enter the city.
okay, but they're ending basically at the same time.
Yeah, they both end at the same time because they both end with the nuke.
Gotcha. We're moving into April. Painkiller was a first-person shooter. I forget who put it out, but Doom vibes. Just Doom vibes is all you need to know.
Yeah, that's one reason why there's not a video because it's basically Doom.
It's fine. I mean, they're still doing painkillers. I think they did a new one recently, or
I
in
think
the
it was a couple of years.
the
Yeah,
last 5-6 years. April 20th, Hitman Contract. I think this is where Hitman really hit its stride. No pun intended. I thought this game was great. I thought it was dark. I thought the missions were fun. They were tough too. This doesn't look like contracts. No, this is contracts. First mission kind of sucks. Cause I hate tutorial missions. They're always bad. And that's all this video is.
yeah. Sorry.
No, you're
It
good.
was, it,
But yeah, there's like a meat factory level. So basically, the setting of the game is 47's been shot on a mission, and it's him like trying to pull himself like back into like consciousness to like escape. But like at one point, like a doctor for the agency comes in to help you and throws you on the bed, and you plop back into a memory where you're on a bed, and that goes into the next mission.
yeah,
I
because
like
it's just
this one.
it's like it's a remake of the original one, isn't it? Basically,
So they
or
remade
it's a
some.
retelling.
They remade some of the levels, not all of them, but yeah. So it's basically they wanted to bring some of those levels to a bigger audience, and I think this was a simultaneous release for PC and consoles. So that was their
Yes.
way of doing that. The big hotel mission on this one's pretty sweet too. I'm struggling to
Don't they
remember.
do the Don't they do the mission where you play dead in the coffin?
That is the next one. That is
Oh, okay.
Blood Money.
I forgot which one it was. I just remember that's my favorite mission. Just because you're just laying in your coffin and you have all these people visiting you,
Because you don't
and
have
you
to
just
be
wake
sneaky
up.
at all. Josh never realized he could activate himself. Josh always just played the mission and let 47 get cremated.
Yes,
Josh
every
was
time.
like, "Oh, this is my favorite
Wait,
level."
you can actually let yourself get cremated
Yeah,
in
you
that
just
one?
lay there and the game would end.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure you just like there was a timer, and if you didn't hit it, like you just laid there and like the credits rolled. Like
I gotta watch that.
you had to I think tap your thumbsticks or something.
I gotta watch that. But anyway, yeah, sorry. I know we're getting sidetracked, but I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
This makes me want to play the newer ones. I haven't touched them at all.
I haven't
People love
touched
them,
2
though.
or 3.
And those guys are doing a James Bond game now. So I'm thinking of like everything and nothing, but by the guys who do Hitman. I'm just like, oh, the things you can do.
Oh man.
We should play Everything or Nothing.
All right.
I love
Don't
that.
have to convince me. We'll do it with the old N64 controller. I've got it. I've got it. We could do it.
No, we'll play it. We'll
Yes.
play it on a PlayStation or an Xbox controller, the way God intended.
No, God intended for it to be on an N64 controller, and we're gonna do it.
Finishing up April 27th, City of Heroes came out. Now this was an MMO where you were in a city of heroes. This is where you came to get your drip of superheroism before Marvel said, "Hey, we got movies for all of you."
Yeah, I think this was like the first super powered MMO.
'Cause
Like you didn't, because like you didn't have DC. What's the DC one called?
I
DC Universe, maybe. They had, okay, so it's not the DC one. It's not. It's like it's just. It was an MMO at the time that no one else had, at least at the moment, done. And it stuck out. Like I remember playing it as a kid, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I remember going to Grandma Grandpa's and playing it.
This looks rough.
Oh, it was rough. And actually, so the story is they shut down the servers. People were so upset by it. And recently they actually brought them back. I think it's in the past couple of years they actually brought the servers back.
Like the company brought them back, or their private servers like put up by the fan base.
I think at one point the company re-released open servers up, turned it down, but then they gave the option for people to open servers of their own.
They're fighting
So-
lava men.
So
How original.
I think even to this day, this game is people are still playing. I don't know how big the fan base is, but I know people love this game for some reason.
Just Josh
remember
and
as a
like
kid
two other
playing it.
people are playing it right now.
We have our own clan. Oh, I'm sorry, it was I don't think it was clans. I think it was teams, like superhero teams or something.
Josh has that fancy 3080, 3090 and just plays City of Heroes on it. Josh, you can play all. No, I'm playing City of Heroes. Leave me alone.
Gotta turn everything on the highest max I can go.
We need to have an intervention for that man with his City of Heroes problem.
Yes, we do.
Moving into May 4th, Red Dead Revolver. This was Rockstar's first attempt at Red Dead. And if
it
you've
was
never seen it, you're probably. Oh, wait, I thought this was first person. Hold on. Hold the phone. Oh, I guess you could switch it maybe.
No, I think this was third person the whole time.
I could have sworn this was a first person game.
I thought so too when I was looking it up, but no, apparently it's a third person.
It's just okay, folks. If you need to know anything, it's just okay. You weren't missing anything. This was from the team. This was Rockstar, like right after what was it? What was the nasty Manhunt? The state of emergency. So they were experimenting, trying to find their bearings. Look at these cowboys. Is that John Marston? That looks like John Marston.
They all look the same. Although I do have to point something out.
Yeah.
Why did Rockstar think it was like, okay, we're gonna have a white cowboy and we're gonna have an Indian be his wife?
That was probably the story they were telling, Josh. Probably like a story about, expanding west and white man going where white man's never gone before, stealing people's land.
I just wanted to point that because when I first saw the video, I was just like, I feel like they did the same thing Gun did, or I guess technically Gun copied.
I forgot about. I feel like Gun was the better Red Dead Revolver.
Yes, it was a lot
Gun
harder.
was so much better. But yeah, I don't like when it comes to stories about like expansion and like whole cultures being wronged by white people back then. I don't think Rockstar had the subtlety to do it.
No.
Because this is the point where, hey, you guys want to make Scarface? We're gonna make Scarface. Like,
And they were also getting in trouble for all the controversies with Vice City and GTA 3. Soon to be San Andreas coming an issue.
Name me a female character in any Rockstar game. Go.
I don't have one.
I can think of one. I can't think of her name.
I can't even
That's
think of
the ranch, the lady who owns the ranch in Red Dead Redemption. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about even currently. I was thinking like back in 2004, 2005.
Even currently, you can't do it because they're just caricatures.
Yeah, I don't. Let's face it, Rockstar is definitely all about the masculinity.
It's all about the boys. Let's hear it for the boys. That's the song they play in the Rockstar offices. Let's hear it for the boys. Da, 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 da.
So think about, there's no sexual harassment lawsuits going on at Rockstar
that we're aware of.
that we're aware of.
That we're aware of.
I've been faced to think about it. Like you hear all these other companies like, oh, the sexual, like if you're a woman in these industries, they talk about frat boys. Like Rockstar is like they are the pikes of the gaming industry. It's all
Josh,
dudes.
we are not. If you're gonna go at Pike's throat like that, I'm gonna need the notes before we go into the podcast. I don't think we can survive the Greeks coming for us.
That's a compliment, though. Clearly, I'm saying the pikes are good people.
They are not.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But no,
I think
anytime
so.
anytime I hear about like a head honcho leaving a studio, I'm always like, are you really going on your own terms, or is there some shit we don't know about that's like you're like, I'm gonna go away before this shit comes out? Because that's always my thought, and they've had multiple people leave.
True.
Moving on. This conversation went places I didn't think it would. The Greeks are coming for us. May 6th, Samurai War. The Greek organizations, not the Greeks. The Greek organizations. I'm sorry.
No, the Greeks, the specifically known Greeks.
Oh God. May 6th, Samurai. We made it 9 episodes before they canned our asses. Thank you, everybody. May 6th, Samurai Warriors. Is that basically Dynasty Warriors, but with samurai? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They're still making those games. They're just getting IP for them. They're like,
Yeah,
oh hey, you guys like Persona, don't you? Persona Strikers, come on down. That's them, right?
Yeah. The only two that I will say right now that are worthwhile, Zelda, because it's Zelda.
Did they do a second Zelda one, or are they just still the first Hyrule Warriors?
I think it's still the first. I think they might be talking about a second one. Yeah, because I think it's gonna be like Breath of the Wild, sort of like into that timeline. Anyway, so there's that, and then Gundam, and it's just because it's Gundams. Who doesn't want to be in giant mechs destroying other giant mechs? Come on.
I've watched the Gundam ones. They're fun.
Yeah.
Continuing through May 24th, Mario vs Donkey Kong. I forgot this game happened.
Too, and that's why I included a video because honestly, I never played it. I remember seeing it in all the reviews, and I'm just like, I would never play that.
It looks like a Game Boy Advance game.
Oh, it very much is a Game Boy Advance game. I mean,
But it doesn't look like a good-looking Game Boy Advance game.
no, it looks like we want to make something really cheap and really quick. So let's just make a game about toys, basically stealing from each other.
This was the skeleton crew of Nintendo. They're like, hey, you guys aren't doing anything, right? All right, go ahead and make this Mario for us. You got 3 months. Go ahead.
Say, hey, you have 90 days. Get us something to make at least, your cost of your group plus.
It looks bad. It doesn't look fun.
No.
Like, oh, you got the key. Okay, cool.
Oh, on to the next spot. Okay, again, I'm gonna pick up this trash can, grab that, and throw that toy. Yeah, it's stupid.
Like, if you're gonna put Mario and Donkey Kong in the same title like that, and you're wanting to evoke like original Donkey Kong vibes, this is not it.
Like my whole thing is like, okay, you got throw in, let's say, like Mario, Sonic, Winter Olympics 2012. Like, okay, great, yeah, at least it makes sense what's going on here. Like, it's Sega versus Mario.
We know they're skiing.
But you give me Mario versus Donkey Kong, and you give me this weird like, okay, you have to get me these presents, and you have to jump around as a toy, not actually play as like Mario trying to save the princess from Donkey Kong, or
Just throw barrels at me, dude. That's all you got.
barrels at me.
Nintendo, just throw. I'm a dirty gamer. Just throw barrels at me, Nintendo. Come on. I almost went back to City of Heroes there. May 25th, closing out May, Thief Deadly Shadows. And I think this is the last visit to Thief before they did the Xbox One, PS4 Thief.
Yes.
So, yeah, this would go dormant for 10 years. I think Thief's fine. I was always more of a Hitman person. It was always you're either Thief or you were a Hitman when I was growing up. And I was a Hitman kid.
And let's face it, Thief basically became Skyrim at one point, so...
I'll take it. You would know more than me. So if he's wrong, let him know. June 1st. June 1st. One of my favorite Xbox titles. This game gets praised. I'm not going to say this is this is so underrated. No, like everyone loved this game. And holy shit, it still looks great. Let's pull it up
right?
for everybody.
That's what I said.
Like I don't think this is like an HD version or anything. This is just the game.
No, this is straight up from the Xbox.
Like, look at Vin Diesel. I can see his hatred for The Rock in all those pixels.
I can hear family every time.
He snapped that man's neck, and you could hear him whisper, "Family." But no, this looks like this still looks great. The lighting is awesome. Oh my god! The only thing I hate about this game is it's licensed IP, so it's hard as hell to find a copy of it now.
I don't even know if you can find a physical copy anymore.
Like I'm sure if you
I
went
know.
secondhand, you could get a physical copy, but it's hard as hell to find this standalone like digitally and Dark Athena.
I didn't care so much for Dark Athena, but this the love for the game is here for sure. Like there's so much. I mean, just heck, even just like the first 30 minutes of you like learning the mechanics and having the jail fight with the Shiv was so fun.
The punching is so great, and I just loved how like it's not hard sci-fi, but they just kept finding ways to up the ante every time you went to a new level of the prison. And they're
Yeah,
like,
you would think.
okay, you're in a storage container this time. We're keeping an eye on you. And then the one where like, okay, like you're so fucking dumb and bad that we have to put you to sleep for like 23 hours, and you still find a way out.
Not like that, but it's like okay, like this first area, okay, it's gonna be nothing but guards with guns. Okay, yeah, you have to avoid them. And then the next area you go, and it's like, okay, well, since you couldn't behave the first time, we're gonna throw in some automated machine guns, and we're gonna put some cameras up there too. Okay, great. Then the third area, yeah, at this point, we're just gonna have mechs walk around your area like 365, just whatever.
It's a tough game, and but oh god, I just want to play it again. Steam, help! Steam
I
or
could
Epic or whoever.
I could always emulate it on the PS3.
Josh, shh, they're coming. They're listening. Stop. If you
I've
haven't
got a
played it,
copy.
find a copy and play it. Escape from Butcher Bay. Dark Athena, I think, is not as good, but it does some interesting things with like mind control. Up next on the list, PsyOps Mindgate Conspiracy. I'm surprised you didn't pull a video for this, but I mean, third person, you basically have psychic powers. You whip people around the room. I don't
It was
remember.
okay.
I don't know when did Destroy All Humans come out? Was that 2005? I feel like that was 2005.
It was towards the end because I think it was Destroy All Humans and Destroy All Humans 2 was like the next gen, like one of the first games come out.
I think you see a lot of similarities between PsyOps and Destroy All Humans. When we get Destroy All
Yeah.
Humans up, I'll point it out. But Destroy All Humans was fun. PsyOps I never played, but it always looked like a great time. It just looked gritty. Like, and I wasn't trying to. Oh, this guy looks like a grizzled soldier. I bet he wants revenge on somebody. Moving on, June 15th,
Yeah.
Front Mission 4. Josh, what is this random game that you pulled a video for?
People, I don't say people. So it's it has a big fan base and people don't shut up about it a lot.
Oh no,
Uh,
this is Anime Planes.
Oh no.
This
Give
is
it
Anime
a second.
Planes, Josh.
Give it a second. Give it a second.
Why give
Just
it
go
a
ahead,
second
actually,
when I can click?
fast forward it. Keep going.
See if my internet can keep up with us.
So basically, Nick, think Advance Wars, but 3D and here with mechs.
As long as we can blow all these anime people up.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, look at that action. Look at him walk. I hope he turns.
It's an action point to turn.
So
But yeah, there's
why
just-
did you pull this, Josh?
So it has a huge fan base. They just, I think within the past couple of years, did another one. I don't know how well it was received, but at the time, this was like one of the bigger console games. I think it was only PS2, but it was one of the top selling games at the time. I think it was like,
You got
top
numbers.
20?
I'm gonna need to see the
Oh,
sources.
yeah, let me-
Josh.
I will pull up the numbers. I'll have to pull them up again. But yeah, it was definitely a more well talked about, well received game of the console. So I just threw it in there. And honestly, I watched the video. I was like, actually, this looks kind of cool. I don't know why we never played it.
Probably just because there were better things to play.
For us at the time, yeah. But as an adult, I'm enjoying it. I'm looking back, man. Honestly, when my retro comes in, I'm definitely gonna put this on there.
Well, and when I look at turn-based for the time around this time, I think this Gaia was probably the one to play.
Yeah,
What was that first one? Hour of Darkness or something like that?
yeah. I think it was Hour of Darkness. Yeah. I think yeah. Like I said, it was just an interesting fact. I watched it. I was like, yeah, it's just really cool. We don't give all of these older games the love and credit they deserve, and it's one of them.
June 21st, Drive 3 Nick, why are you calling it that? Because that is what it is called, folks. Drive three
The
er.
the first driver you can actually not be driving.
Yeah, look at it. He's out of the car. This looks terrible.
Yeah, so I think like this is like their attempt to try and get into GTA territory.
Get back in the car, damn it. Stop doing. Get in the car.
Driver was never about getting out of the car and shooting. It was all about being in the car and being that driver.
Get in the
Like
car.
this was
Please get in the
baby.
car.
This was Baby Driver before Baby Driver wasn't even like written.
Please get in the car and just stop walking. Chase that man. Chase him. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, he's in the car. For our audio listeners, he got in the car. He stopped running. Oh, and he just ran into a wall. He's not a very good driver.
He's a terrible driver.
Terrible driver.
Well, he is the third driver.
He is the third driver. The other two, they were better drivers. This is their third option.
Yeah, like I said, I just threw it in there because it was the first one, but at the same time, it's like we gotta show how terrible it was because this was like the whole game is about driving, and the first thing you do is you're literally standing outside of the car.
Finishing up June, and I'm going to murder you for putting this on here. Mega Man Battle Network 4. If you saw 2003 or any other Mega Man, it's Mega Man Card Battler. It's apparently a lot of fun if you ask Josh.
So after 3, I think it kind of went downhill, but I never actually played 4 too much to be able to give you a solid answer. But like I said, after 2, 3, 4, I think there's a 5th one. Honestly, I think they branched off in like 2 different colors. So I think 3 was like red and blue. 4 was like it was kind of like Pokemon vibes at that point.
Capcom was like, "Hey, people really liked Oracle of Seasons and Ages. Let's split off our Mega Man games."
Yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed the card-based battle games, like was it Battle of Eden? I think is the one that everybody plays currently. That's where they got the concept from. Was that? In my opinion, I don't know if that's true or not, but
This better be the only Mega Man game on here I'm breaking your neck.
Sure.
July 13th, Tales of Symphonia. I know how to say that one.
You know, we played. I don't know about Nick. I remember playing this all the time. I actually still currently play it. I go back and forth between this and Vesperia.
Another GameCube exclusive at the time, by the way.
Yes, until the Wii came out, and then they actually made a sequel to it.
They did like an actual sequel, like
an
Symphonia
actual
2.
Yeah. There's an actual sequel to it, but I don't think you got to play as any of the original characters. The original characters did show up.
They all die at the end of this.
Spoiler. God.
That's why they weren't in the sequel.
No, I would say this is like. So I remember playing bits and pieces of all the older titles, but I think Symphonia is the one that stuck out the most.
Who makes the Tales game? This isn't Square, is it?
No, it's not Square. It is what's the name? Bandai and somebody else.
Bandai. They make toys. They make Power Rangers.
It is Bandai and Namco.
See, I was never crazy about like having the First of all, I don't like the talking head comic thing they do right here. I was never a fan of that.
Like I said, it was trying to introduce like anime style stuff to the North America. Because let's face it, this time anime was just becoming a huge concept. Like we were just starting to see like all these big things. Like we already had Dragon Ball Z, we already had Gundam. Help me out, Nick. What's the other one?
Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, well, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is. Well, Pokemon technically is an anime. Well, those are technically anime though, and people love the shit out of that crap. And they're like, we're just starting to get into the idea of okay, well, there's more out there than this. Like this was actually an anime too.
Josh, I'm gonna start shit.
Start it.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is anime.
It is. It is American anime. That's all it is.
I don't like anime purists like hear that and like go.
Yeah, they do. But like I said, like you have different versions of it. Like you get all these different styles, and people are like, "Oh, that's not anime." Well, no, it is. It's just a different style. Like America, Avatar: The Last Airbender. That is technically. I mean, people will sit there and tell you it's a cartoon.
It's a Western. It's a Western anime.
A Western anime. That's what it is.
I think Korra is more anime than Avatar is, but
yeah. I can agree.
But maybe that's just the steampunk aesthetic that they went with. We got to get out of anime territory. We got to get out of here. Moving on. Oh, out of the frying pan into the other frying pan. Oh God, you might as well just pull the.
I almost wanted the Game Boy Advance one.
The
Just
Catwoman. The Catwoman game. Yes, in case you're wondering, that Catwoman, Halle Berry's Catwoman, the basketball playing like 10 cuts in a basketball game. She dry humps a man on a basketball court in front of kids, like 20 kids, and they're all vibing with it. They're like, yeah, like we should come down here and play basketball more.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw this, I'm like, I'm not gonna put a video, but then I saw like there's a Game Boy Advance version, and I'm like, I'm almost half tempted just to see your reaction.
You remember
No,
what I
I'm
said?
not.
Remember we were talking about snow dogs earlier, and I was like, yeah, all those dogs are dead.
Yeah,
It's been that long. All those kids on the basketball court in Catwoman, they're all dead.
yikes.
They're like, I had some. I'm not gonna go
You
there.
had something that's getting really dark. We're gonna move on, everyone. July 29th.
They're like, you can't unsee this. What you saw of Catwoman.
We thought the Greeks were gonna get us. Jesus Christ. No.
Okay, so July 29th, robot with hand cannon commandment. Josh, what is this random game that you've pulled? You might have. Jesus. It's Mega Man X Command Mission.
Oh, but you said no more Mega Man, so
And he
I
pulled video for it.
I did.
He went all out.
This was a turn-based Mega Man exclusively for the GameCube.
I wasn't aware. Was this a Japan exclusive?
It was in America too.
Josh, I want to murder you.
Why do you want to murder me?
I want to RoboCop your ass right now.
Hey, you said no more Mega Man, so I put on the robot with hand cannon command mission.
You know what I love in my Mega Man? You know what I love in my games? Talking. Lots and lots of talking.
Well, yeah, this is also like the tutorials thing, so
I can't believe you tricked. I am irate right now. Josh, I can't look at you. I'm going to look at the other screen.
so I also know this was not exclusively or not exclusively. It wasn't like well received, but it's also a game that I never played, and when I get to my retro, I will be playing it.
So I'll tell you why it wasn't well received. There was already a Mega Man game, so it had that going against it. And then they were like, hey, the kids, you know what they love? This turn-based RPG stuff. The kids love standing there and hitting buttons. They don't want to be moving. They want to be standing. And so that's...
I mean, how many characters do you know can go to Black Zero? I mean, that looks so cool.
It just looks like they changed his color palette, Josh.
That's all they did, Nick.
And
But
there's
this is also
there's combos here. What is this?
it's a turn-based thing, Nick. I just picked it because it made me laugh when I thought of you. So
I mean, I appreciate the combo thing they're doing, but Legend of the Gaia did it better.
no, I agree. That's a game that we never came across that.
I think that was 90s. We started in 2000.
Okay.
But we should definitely consider going back and doing a playthrough of it.
I'm game.
He is game.
It's a good game. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, now I'm gonna have to read all these more carefully now since you tricked me with that one. As soon as I clicked on it, robot with hand cannon. Like it registered as soon as I said robot with hand cannon. I was like, what is this? I thought it was gonna be another weird turn-based thing, which it kind of was, but it was Mega Man.
I was just like, how could you not get robot with hand cannon?
It's 2 episodes in a row you've snuck in.
I should
two
put
Mega Man
Android.
games.
I should have done like Android.
You've
Android
only
hand
volunteered to
cannon.
do these so you can put in Mega Man games because you knew I wasn't going to pull either of those.
Spoiler, by the way, everyone. He has a quiz at the end about Mega Man.
I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah, you're gonna hate me with this one.
August 3rd, Doom 3 came out. This one wasn't on the list originally. This is HD. So
Yeah, sorry.
this wasn't your granddaddy's Doom. This was slower Doom.
Yes,
I think
this
I think it was well received at the time, but I think this is a game that hasn't aged well for a lot of people. I didn't mind it. I thought it was scary as hell.
Well, this was their attempt to like make it a little more, I think, realistic. Compare, like, I mean, you got to face it. We had Doom 1, Doom 2, which were really fast paced, jumping around and stuff. And this is like their like reimagining of it, but like more of a horror shooter. Which I like you said, I enjoyed it. I never found anything wrong with it.
I always thought it was weird that you couldn't have like you had to add a mod to put a flashlight on a gun. Like you either flashlight or gun, you couldn't do both. But I think this thing is like bleeding with aesthetic and just like it's very stylized, very slow, just very brooding.
No, and I would say because of this game, we got Dead Space. I think Dead Space took a lot of its mechanics, like as far as like the dark interior areas, the you know
Like who
monsters
are the Dead
crawling
Space
around.
guys? Was that Volition? Was that Volition for Dead Space?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like yeah, I remember playing like a few levels of Dead Space and being like, man, they really like Doom 3.
I mean, especially the first one. After that, it kind of got like two was like still kind of dark, but it was a lot more like you were surrounded by a lot more people. And there was a lot more action because you're there as it's happening. And then
Dead
three,
Space did the reverse Doom. Like they started out slow and they're like, hey, let's pick this shit up and speed it up.
yes, and that's what kind of like brought their downgrading. But now they're actually remaking it, so I'm hoping that the remake brings it back to life. Because honestly, I I enjoyed. So Doom 3 was fantastic. I enjoyed Dead Space, and I think because of the result that this Doom 3 was so good, we got such a fantastic franchise in Dead Space.
What was Dead Space 2? Was that the one that had the your mom won't like Dead Space 2?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I love marketing like that. That's the best marketing. Like I just think a lot of marketing is a joke right now. And when you like when you go in on that kind of like marketing where it's like, oh, like we know this person's not gonna like when you market about like someone who's going to hate it. There's just some kind of genius behind it.
I mean, it was something about the late 90s, early 2000s marketing for games that was just fantastic. I mean, I still think my go-to is Pizza Hut with Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, that was that they. I think they casted that really well. The guy that played Crash Bandicoot was just. I don't know if it was like the same guy in the suit, but the guy who did the VO for it was just. He was Crash Bandicoot.
Yes, he did a fantastic job, and then just all the concept they did were great. And then you get like Dead Space and Doom, and there was just something really great. And like someone at on those teams later on, there was just like, well, let's just keep going with that because that's clearly working, and it worked. But
That's what I liked about Dead Space 2 in 2011. Now, like the 2000 on the marketing side for 2000, I think like one of the better ones was probably Nintendo. They had the whole like who are you like marketing promotions where like they kind of like went mysterious with it.
right, right.
I'm struggling to think of because man, video games they're just the channels we watch they're just marketed so heavy.
Yes. Well, we were also watching Tech TV, G4. So like we saw like if you look at like nowadays, I think the only few games you see commercials for are the games you're looking up and you're like whoever your provider is like, okay, yeah, now that they're looking this stuff up, let's throw in more commercials with their stuff.
You're seeing like yeah, you're only seeing the big
More
boys like
personalized, yeah.
back in the
Dying
day.
Light too.
Every I yeah that was the one I was gonna bring up. Like back in the day, like you'd see a commercial and then at the end of it, it'd be like, oh, pre-order now, and now like all you see is like banners like on a website or banners on
Hmm.
Steam. They're like, I love that how like add to your wish list is basically the pre-order now.
Which even then, and I know everybody's I don't know if everybody else has been seeing it, but the more and more I get all these older or these newer games coming out and I pre-order them and I hate them, I'm realizing pre-ordering is dead. There is no incentive to pre-ordering
There's really
nowadays.
no reason. Like I haven't heard of like well GameStop doesn't run ads anymore on the channels I watch at least. And you know,
I don't.
you used to be like pre-order Pokemon Arceus and get green Snorlax exclusive to GameStop pre-orders.
Yeah, nowadays it's like, okay, well, if you go to pre-order, you're gonna get like this pin set that's gonna be worth nothing in 30 years.
I think GameStop employees are all dead, and it's just like a bunch of like animatronic Funko Pops like inside their bodies, like operating them.
I was gonna say it's just a bunch of animals, like it's gonna be like the cats from like Rick and Morty controlling the old lady. It's just it's just animals controlling dead bodies.
Are you guys sure you don't want a Golden Girls Funko Pop?
I'm sure. Thanks though.
Thank you, GameStop employee. We went off on a tangent there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Talking about ads. What is next? Doom. You were good, Doom. Classic NES series, Metroid, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Were these Game Boy releases? I remember these.
Yeah, so they just started releasing Game Boy Advance copies of older games. So they threw in at this point Metroid and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and they start like it was like hit and miss with every one of them. Like they'd like it'd be like a combo pack if I remember correctly, and then like there was like this, then there was like two more that came out that were like really crappy, no one wanted, and then they had like another good set. Like it was like The Legend of Zelda, and I can't remember the other one. There's a couple. There's a handful of them that came out, but this is the start of it that we start to see.
I remember they looked weird. So like it was basically the NES box, but in Game Boy fashion. So it always looked like aesthetically it was pleasing, but there was like something wrong with it.
Yes, it was like 10 years, 15 years too late.
Rounding out August 30th was Pikmin 2, which had the pleasure of adding in multiplayer. Getting rid of the timer. Like people were very iffy on the timer. I enjoyed it. It added purple and white Pikmin, I believe. The white Pikmin were poisonous. The purple were like chonky, so they were the bruisers.
I can't remember. The point of this one was you went to Earth because after you crash landed and escaped, they loved all the stuff that you had, so they wanted more resources, right?
Yes, so colonization. They were like, hey, that Olmar guy got a lot of good shit from that planet. Let's go back. And that was the story on that one.
Yeah, I don't remember playing this one too much. I know at one point we did have it though. I just remember playing the first one.
It came so late in life. I can't find there's my mouse. It came so late in life, the GameCube. Like I said, I think this is the last great year for the GameCube.
Yeah, I could see that because I honestly I can only think of like two games that came out that were really good, and after that it's kind of like hit and miss. Like as far as like decent to oh god, it was terrible.
But also, if they were like to come out and be like, "Hey, we're putting out," I know they just put 3 on the Switch, but hey, we're gonna put all the Pikmin on Switch. I'd be like, "Yeah, do it. I'll buy. Yeah, come on, let's
Yeah.
go.
Shut up and take my money."
Shut up and take my money." 2004. You are long in the tooth, aren't you? September 7th. We
Yes.
have a few titles here. Burnout Takedown. Burnout 3 Takedown. This is my Driver 3. Soundtrack was amazing. This thing was just oozing with style.
I mean, just the soundtrack alone was fantastic. Honestly, the soundtrack was so good, Nick. I don't know if you remember. Dad would sit there and leave the game on just to listen to the soundtrack.
Oh God, I forgot that. I forgot that memory. It was it was such a good soundtrack. There's MCRs on there, Sugar Cult's on there. I think this might be a little before Panic at the Disco's time. Might be like a year before. But like a lot of good like emo, screamo type stuff, but not like too hard. I know who was
Like
it? DJ Laz or whatever his name was.
I mean, just soundtrack alone had to be super expensive. Like there was a lot. I mean, there's so like literally you didn't have to go like maybe one or two songs just because the game would overplay them that you would remove.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was just a fantastic soundtrack.
Oh, Taking Back Sunday was on there also. And the races were fun. So like people come to these for the crash mode, but the races in this one were like just as great as crash mode.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you would do the races. In my opinion, you would do the races, get everything done there, and then you would go into crash mode and do all that. That was where the fun was at, though.
I played the hell out of this game, and I would play it again. People like Paradise. I never played Paradise. This was the one for me.
Everybody gets one.
The other release on that day that Josh gave them both the same heading. So, oh, he fixed it. Oh, he's fixing live. Josh.
I know what you're talking about. I was there the whole time.
Silent Hill 4 The Room. This was like the last whimper from Konami. Like they've done a bunch more Silent Hills since this, but this was like the last like kind of effort they put into it. It's been a minute. I always forget that there was first person aspects in this because you're basically locked in your room, but you find a hole and it takes you into Silent Hill. When you're in your room, you're in first person. When you're in Silent Hill, you're in third person. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember playing this one too much. I remember playing like maybe the first hour of it.
I don't remember the themes of this one. So like 2's about like adultery and coming to terms with your wrongs. 3 was about sins of the father and lineage. And what were the themes for this one? I'm sure someone like Voidburger would know, but not I.
I'm kind of curious, but honestly, yeah, you're right. This was definitely the last, whimper we got. And honestly, I thought for sure when they were working, allowing Kojima to work on the next one, and we got that demo, I thought for sure like this is going to send Silent Hill off. Like this is going to be the thing that brings it back and just sets it back up to the top.
It was not
And
meant
then
to
they
be.
shut that. And then they shut that down. I couldn't believe they did that. I thought for sure that demo. People still to this day
Well, and
love that demo.
I'm looking at this, and there's just some weird decisions. I don't know if this and 3 were like, I don't know if the Silent Hill was like on the Call of Duty treatment where they're like, all right, we want one every year. That kind of feels like what they were going for. But like 3, oh, that guy standing in the corner scared me. 3 was a lot of like third person behind the back. You might have had fixed camera in some rooms, but this is a lot of fixed camera, and it takes you out of it.
Yeah. Honestly, and I'm kind of looking for the theme now, and nothing's really popping up for me right now. So I'm like, whatever. Yeah, I really don't care anymore. But yeah, that's on Hill 4.
God, Josh. So September 9th, Pokemon Red, Fire Red, and Leaf Green came out.
You don't have to pull the video up. I just put it on there, okay?
No, I'm pulling it up because Josh, the first Pokemon remake is 18 years old.
Yeah.
If that don't
I'm
make
trying
you
to
feel
think.
old,
When
what
was it
will?
originally released? Do you remember the original red and green or blue?
Was that 97 or 98?
I think it might be 97.
Because
So
Red
7 years.
because they were original Game Boy, they weren't Game Boy Color.
Yeah,
Because Gold and Silver were 2000.
it might be 98 then, actually.
Because then Yellow came out like a few months after Red and Blue.
Yeah, I think so it had to be 97 because I think 98 was when we got the color, and I think Yellow was in color,
Mm.
or it was exclusively made for the color. If you catch my drift,
Dude, I can't believe the remake is that old.
I can't either.
Sounds like people like Arceus, by the way.
I've been hearing that. I've been seeing a bunch of memes about it, especially with Snorlaxes on there. But I'm not willing to drop $60 on it.
I watched someone's like a wild Snorlax mess somebody up with a hyper beam on Twitter the other day.
It just cracks me up. It's all these videos of like Snorlaxes are supposed to always be asleep, and this one they're like the most menacing freaking things in the world.
All right, Snorlax, go back to sleep, please. All right, speed
Oh my
round.
god!
We got speed round here. September 14th, we got Gradius 5, Call of Duty United Offensive, Sly 2, Band of Thieves. I didn't realize we were on Sly 2 already, by the way. And then
Yeah.
The Sims 2. We only got the video for Fable here.
Because there's five of them on here. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna pull it for Fable because Fable's.
Fable. I can't believe Fable's coming back.
I can't either. But then again, I mean, how many times have they died and then come back and then died again?
I also can't believe Lionhead's gone.
I can.
When was that? It was either 2014 or 20. I think it was 2015 because I graduated college and they were working
Yeah,
on
because
that
that's when they were that VR
Fable Legends, the 4v1.
yeah that one.
You know what bugs me about that is that 4v1s are kind of on the rise again.
I don't understand that. Like the only one I could think of right now that's like even semi alive is Dead by Daylight.
So so you have Back for Blood coming. Control is doing a version of that.
True.
There were like 2 other ones I can't think of, but I think a Fable version of this would have been cool. I think Microsoft's been a lot better with like the developers they've bought. So like, for example, they bought the guys who did I think Super Meat Boy, not Super Meat Boy, Explosion Man. They bought those guys, and then those guys put a game out at the beginning of Xbox One, and it didn't do so well. And so usually, like if it was EA who bought you and that happened, you're dead.
You're canned.
Like you're on the BioWare. Like BioWare is like one game away from being like toilet water. But no, like they were like, we're gonna let you go. I forget the dev's name, but like now they're independent. Haven't seen anything they released, but they're still alive. They're still running. I think, and even Phil Spencer's come out and said it and been like, yeah, we fucked up with Lionhead. We're sorry.
Sorry, it doesn't bring them back.
Oh, that's why. Oh God, when EA bought Respawn, like I Darth Vader Node. Which is funny because now they're working on a bunch of Star Wars games and not Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never pulled up here's the Fable gameplay. There you go. There you go.
Jesus.
Person yelling at another person, kid just standing there watching it. That's not going to affect him at all.
No.
She is really giving it to him. My goodness.
And this is how Fable 2 starts.
Moving on to I think we have another big list of games here. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we do.
Speaking of Star Wars Battlefront out on September 21st.
The beginning of a great craftsmanship.
Oh, Josh, it's so sad to look at it now because
It's aged.
no, like not that it's aged. Look at what they did to our boy Josh.
Oh, I know. And honestly, I I wanted to give them credit when the first one came out, like
The first remake or the first new
the
one.
the first new one. Like I was like, okay, I understand they're trying to do something a little different. They'll fix it in two. And then two came out, and I just shook my head like, I gave you a chance.
Well,
Actually, I shouted at them, "You were the chosen one."
that's EA for you, just like getting the license and fucking it up. Star Wars, NFL,
FIFA.
FIFA. There are other soccer games besides them.
Well, right, but I mean, FIFA's like the one of the well-known ones. I think the other one's like what PAX. I think is the other one.
Yeah, and winning 11, whatever. I think winning 11. The one I
Yeah.
remember was winning 11-7 because like that's catchy.
But yeah, it's like I remember playing this one and I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's Star Wars. It's third-person shooter. Yeah, it's fun. And then the second one came out, same thing. It had space battles, which made it 10 times better.
I recently rewatched the X Play review of 2. It holds up.
It's yeah. Honestly, I think it said when the first Battlefield came out, the remake, the it slowly started going down, but the numbers for Battlefield 2, the original, went up. I think at one point Battlefield 2 had more people on it than Battlefield 1.
What servers are these? Fan servers? Because the
You
people
know,
who
so if you download the game, that's still on Steam, by the way.
Really?
You could. I think it is currently. I have a copy of it. I think it's all private servers, but still, I mean, there's more private servers, and it's not like private you can't join. It's private as in, hey, we're free, come play with us.
come play this game. This looks fun. I think this guy's just playing the AI,
Yeah,
but it looks like it actually looks like a lot of fun. Makes me want to jump back into this. I won't, but it makes me want to.
I said we always could.
Let's see what is next on the list here.
Katamari Damacy.
Katamari Damacy.
I don't know. I can't pronounce it.
I remember
But-
that people going bonkers over this when it came out.
People still kind of go bonkers for it. I don't think they have one recently, but
I theorized that The Rock tweeted about like being in a big game movie that everybody wanted, and I theorized it's this game.
do you think he's playing the king?
He's playing the king. Look at that package on him.
He's loaded.
Beefy dude. The king of cosmos, if you know what I mean. Josh, I've never played a Katamari game.
I have never either, but I've always seen them, and I'm always like, I don't understand what everybody like freaks out about. It just looks like you're rolling a ball around.
Yeah, it's always been by proxy, like my experience.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it doesn't look like it's fun. I'm just saying like, I don't understand where everybody like loses their mind about on it. You're literally rolling a ball around, making it bigger. Like, the more small objects you get, the bigger your ball gets, which means the bigger objects you can start picking up, and eventually it becomes a star, if I remember correctly.
Stop me if you've heard me say this before, Josh. I think it's the style.
I think it is the style.
I think it's oozing with style. I think it's like cute, like not trying too hard. Like if this came out today, this would be a mobile game.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, and it's running really fast. That's hurting my brain. Ooh, ooh.
It's not moving that fast.
Well, when it went blurry there for a minute,
Okay.
it gave me a headache. I'm getting old. Leave me alone. I turned 30, Josh, a month ago. Leave me
Also
alone.
on September 22nd.
Also on September 22nd, Rome, Total War. Not going to pull a video up for that. You've seen Total War games. It's Rome. It wasn't built in a day, but it damn well almost fell in a day, right?
When in doubt, go to Rome.
When in doubt, do what the Romans do. Fall. September
Aw.
28th, Myst 4 Revelation. I'm not a big point and click guy. Like people like the Myst games. I'm just like, yeah, I like my slower chill games too, but like Myst ain't it.
There's only one point and click game that should ever be brought up in conversation. And that's Scooby-Doo.
Scooby Doo. Okay, now I know I say we need to play that, but if you can get a thing for that one so we can play it.
You want the Sega or the Super Nintendo?
Motherfucking Sega.
Sega it is.
Because I
I'm
want
on
to hear the Sega.
Okay, yeah, I will make something happen with that.
All right, moving on. October 4th, Thug 2, Tony Hawk's Underground 2. I think this one's very timely because Jackass Forever just came out. And apparently Bam Margera is actually in part, like he cameos in it, but he wasn't like allowed to be there because he uh, needed to go to rehab. I think this was the last great Tony Hawk game.
Yep.
Like American
Because after
Wasteland
this,
was okay, but like this was the last great one. This was fun. This was
well, I'm
like
trying to think.
peak Jackass.
Well, I'm trying to think. This was like, so after this, they tried to do new stuff. I think so. They had American Wasteland, which is just like a recopy of the first Underground, if I remember correctly. And then they tried to do like the skate series type deal where they're like it not like third person, but like kind of on like the bottom side, like you're the cameraman
What was it?
to the
It was
skater.
like Project 8 or something like that.
Yeah, they had that, and then they had the one where you had the actual board that you would play on.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, I was watching the video, this video, and I saw all these people. I'm like, pretty sure half these people either one don't exist or two are already dead.
I think Polly Wheels Fury Ryan's not real. I think everyone else on there was real though. They even had Phil, like this was peak Jackass, peak Viva La Bam.
Yeah, because they had Bam Margera, or not Bam, Phil Margera.
Yeah. Oh my god, this game! Like I played this to completion.
We played it so much, Nick. I don't know if you remember. We actually had a PSP copy of the game.
Did we? Oh my god!
Yeah, we did.
I'm trying. I
And it
was
was
trying to get to some
just good.
skating. Of course, the video doesn't start skating until there's 2 minutes left.
No, but still, with the you have to have the opening in there because that's one of the things
Oh, that's
everybody
a
remembers.
great opening. Oh, I forgot they had what is this, Warehouse?
Yeah, Warehouse. I think this was the first time they reintroduced Warehouse.
Thug 2, great game.
It's a fantastic game.
Go play it if you can. That they should just skip doing the remake for 3 and 4 and just do Thug 2, and just say F it to the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from our Skater Boy days, Conflict Vietnam. Oh god, did we played Desert Storm, right?
We played Desert Storm a lot. We never got to Vietnam.
I'll say it again, guys. It's kind of messed up that we're playing games that kind of glamorize these wars that people are like, oh yeah, the war is hell. Like people who are traumatized by them. Like this game, I remember these games being gritty. Like these games were tough. Like these conflict games were tough.
Yeah, they were always tough. They were never easy.
I just, yeah. The older I get, it's just the further removed from these I am. And I realize I play Company of Heroes too. And maybe that's just saying something about me where it's like, well, that's okay because, you're controlling the units from above, so you're kind of removed from the conflict with my yuppie ass over here. But yeah, war. Josh, what do they say about war?
It's good for nothing.
I was going to say it never changes, but that works too. Josh is trying to break the MCA. He does not give a hoot. Possibly another Rockman Zero game. Josh, was that another Mega Man attempt?
Yes, but I didn't include a video for that one because
Going to
it's
kill you.
03. Hey,
I'm going to
I changed first one was robot with a hand cannon. This one's Rockman, possibly another Rockman, which is the Japanese name for Mega Man. So, and I didn't include a video. Just
still
say
gonna murder you. All right, we're gonna speed round the rest of October because November, December, we still have like another page and a half to go.
So don't even pull up the videos. We'll just talk about them then.
Correct. Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, sequel to the original Paper Mario. I think this is the most well-renowned.
Yes, everybody still talks about it, and they kind of wish that the Origami King, I think that's what that newest one was called. I wish it was like that, but it wasn't. Origami King was okay. I mean, I still think it was Thousand Year Door won than that.
Again, I will reiterate, this was the last great year for GameCube, so you see him going all out here. October 12th, Sen Megami Tensei Nocturne. This is the sexy one, right? The scary, sexy monster one.
This is Scary Sexy Monster. They actually just did the remake or the remaster for it for all consoles. Everybody knows what it is. It's fun. Give it a try.
Blood Rain 2, the sequel. So Blood Rain 1 was like when you first learned to draw, like you just do the stick figures facing forward. That was Blood Rain 1. Blood Rain 2 is when you learn to like actually draw like people in action poses and like they can move around.
Yeah.
That's the best way for me to describe it.
That's basically it.
October 18th, Boktai 2, more playing outside with your pasty ass skin and getting those sun rays for the game.
And Kojima's back, of course.
Kojima is back, baby. October 25th, Ace Combat 5: The Unsung Hero. More anime planes.
It's not anime planes. That's regular
Ace Combat
planes.
is like like layered in anime elements. Josh,
Okay, no. If we're
don't
gonna
you
say
like me?
anybody, if we're gonna say anything, is that it's Tom Clancy's version of it? Okay, I forget what it's called. They had two of them.
Hawks is the Tom
Hawks, yeah.
Clancy version.
Hawks, yeah. That's the anime version of it. Moving on.
Here's another one that Josh didn't pick up originally that we had to add, and we'll pull this one up
Whatever.
because this is an all timer. San Andreas.
First off, I'm still upset that people were upset about the whole coffee mechanic,
Oh, the hot coffee.
the hot coffee. Like, first off, that's what we want. That is what the content we needed.
That's not what
And
we
rather-
want. Don't let him put words in this podcast mouth.
No, but it did crack me up because it's like the fact that somebody thought like I don't remember, was it originally a mechanic they built in, or was it someone just made a mod of it? I couldn't
It was
remember.
in the game, and somebody found it in the code.
Yeah, so the fact that somebody at Rockstar had made it, it baffles me. Like, wouldn't you remove that from the code then?
I will reiterate. Name a great female hero from a Rockstar game.
I don't have one. The girl in the video that they showed specifically all over the news.
Nope, Josh. Banned. Josh is banned. Yep, San Andreas. They wanted to do Boys in the Hood. They did Boys in the Hood. It was a great game. They built 3 cities. I think the San Fierro and Los Venturas parts are very forgettable. They thought so too, because then when they did 5, they were just like, let's just do Los Santos.
Yes. Bravo.
Bravo. Yep. Los Santos. Cut the rest of it. You guys are on the money.
You have your game. Take it. Go.
Go. November 1, Counter Strike Source. It's Counter Strike.
They just added more content to it. That's it.
November 2nd, Killzone. Give Bungie Killzone for the lulz, please. I don't know. Killzone was fine. Like, I liked the aesthetic of it. Just
I
like
think-
a grungier Halo. Like more leveled sci-fi, I feel like.
Right. So I thought with this one it was good. Like the aim down sets, of course, was just zoomed in. So and then of course you have the background of fighting. So it was kind of cool. The story was decent. And then 2 came out, and I think 2 looked and played a lot better. The story was still okay, but I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I remember getting 3, and I'm like, oh my god, what have they done?
Sony's better shooter was the Resistance series, and that's all I'll say. People like to shit on the Resistance series, but I think it's the better of the 2.
I have to actually agree.
Moving on, November 3rd, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. You've seen Ratchet and Clank, guys. It's Ratchet and Clank.
Up your arsenal.
But up your arsenal. November 4th, Zelda Minish Cap, which I haven't played any of these like 2D after a certain point. But
Have
it's
you
a
played
cap
Minish
that
Cap?
it's a cap that makes you small.
Have you played Minish Cap before?
No, I have not.
Okay. I mean, just think of like A Link to the Past, but the mechanic, instead of going through time, is you shrink.
It's fine. Not my cup of tea, but I can see why somebody would like it.
Actually, I played it once. I mean, we were also kids when we played it because I don't know. I don't remember half the stuff I played, but I just remember playing a little bit. I'll go back and play it, but just not right now.
Not right now. We're not committing to that one.
No.
Oh boy. Oh god. Well, here's the meat and potatoes, Josh. Oh, get your back ready.
Yeah.
Hold on, everyone. Stop for a few seconds. Pop your backs. Oh. We didn't finish the fight with this one, but we're in the middle of the fight.
No, we were continuing the fight.
We were stringing the fight out to be a little longer. This is Halo 2. You might have heard of this. You might be aware of it. Halo 2. Oh, dual wielding. This game, like, you could not escape this game. There was ads everywhere for it. Like any game magazine was covering this game. Any game channel, Tech TV basically, was covering this. It was everywhere. And don't even forget what Chief did with the Covenant's bomb. He gave it back. What a nice guy.
Most memorable scene throughout any Halo game ever.
I'd argue the opening scene in 3 is also up there, where he falls back to the earth.
Oh, okay, yeah. At nighttime when you see him. Okay, I can agree that much, but I still think That's the scene where he gives their bomb back. It's if you're honestly gonna tie Halo to any scene, it's gonna be that one in particular.
That's the scene. That, and I think dropping as an ODST is also up there.
Oh, you're talking about the mission where you dropping down? Or you're talking about
The
the
opening
ODST one?
ODST where they're like,
Okay,
"All right, we're
yeah.
dropping."
And you watch the ship warp right in front of you. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, and this game also put Xbox Live on the map.
Yes, that was actually Halo was probably the game that brought multiplayer online in general. That was the
That
game.
was just the like for consoles. For consoles, it was like,
Yes, for consoles.
here you go, boys. You got this. Jack 3 was more of Jack 2 with less of Jack 2. I think they went back a little more on some more platforming.
Yes,
Got a little,
and they
got away
introduced
from the GTA
races.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
races. They were just like, we want to do a bunch of stuff, not just be like a GTA clone, and that's what they did. November 15th, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, which I think still has one of the most bonkers soundtracks. Again, Nintendo going all in on the GameCube this year because they know they don't have it after that.
Well, that and they were working on a bunch of things at this time. Like the Wii was in process because of the year before they announced that their next console would have backwards compatibility and everything. I mean, it was basically like Nintendo flexing, trying to get as much money as they could out of the GameCube, knowing that they were going into the Wii.
Well, and it's funny how big of a selling point like going into that next generation that back compat was going to be, and then like in the matter of like 7 years it disappeared.
I mean, if you think about it, so Nintendo and Microsoft did a fantastic job implementing backwards compatibility, but then you look at like Sony.
Sony did
Sony
too.
was weird.
Sony had they coming out of the gate they were back compat, but then after a certain point they're like, no more. And we'll get to that when we get to when those come out.
But still, it was weird that like Nintendo's focus was like, hey, we want to make sure you can go back and play as much of the old games as you possibly could. And it was like, oh, that's unheard of because you've been making me keep my console and buy a new one at the same time.
But also, if you look at Nintendo now, it's like, oh, you want to sell me the same game 10 times? Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm. Or you have to have a subscription.
Half-Life 2, the game that people would argue is probably one of the best single-player games out there. It's funny because you hear that, and then you hear Portal. Or, I'm sorry, Portal 2. Like, those are, like, always on the same list of, like, oh, this is, like, the best. Oh, and of course, I would pull up the scariest part of the game.
Of course you would.
Oh, I hated this part.
I mean, I agree. This Half-Life 2 is definitely something that, even to this day, still is probably one of the better single-player games. Now, obviously, we're never going to see a 3, so everybody just needs to shut up about it, because I'm tired of hearing... Like, I want 3 just as much as you do, but complaining about it and going to Reddit and complaining about it is not going to make it happen. Like, let's face it, when it comes to Steam and Valve, if it has the number 3 or above after it, it's not going to get made. It's just that simple.
Just take Half-Life Alyx, turn the E around in life, and make it a 3. There you go. You got your Half-Life 3.
I mean, if you want to be technical, that's basically what Half-Life Alyx was. I mean, it is technically the 3rd, if you want to be true in a sense.
I'd say they need to get over it and just find something else to bitch about. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I can't believe that game is 18 years old. I'm not going to pull a video up for it, but it was based off the tabletop game, right?
Yeah.
It always looked fun. I would never get into it, but that's just me.
People want the sequel to it, so it's got to be at least decent. It's another game. People won't shut up about it. We
coming.
get it.
I mean,
you
the
want a
sequel's
sequel.
coming. The sequel
is coming.
troubled. It's troubled. There's so much trouble around it. Speaking of devs with some sexual allegations going on in them. Moving on to Snake Eater. Snake Eater came out, when was that? November 17th. Crazy. Like, back half of 2004 is kind of bonkers.
Oh, it's very bonkers.
I mean, this game, I remember that Christmas. It was this, GTA San Andreas, Metroid Prime Echoes, and Halo were all under our Christmas tree.
Yeah, I remember when you got this game, you literally took the PS2. I remember the GameCube was in your room and the PS2 was in me and Jake's room. And I remember you took the PS2, put it in your room, and gave us the GameCube. Because I got Metroid Prime Echoes.
Oh my god, Snake Eater, awesome.
And honestly, I would say Snake Eater and Twin Snakes is like a tie for first. Like, I absolutely cannot pick which one is my favorite.
I don't know, man. I geek out over like the themes of 2. Like the themes of 2 sell me on it alone. I wish I had a stronger connection with the themes of 3. Like there's some great stuff about, uh what is it? So M is memes, G is jeans, S is scenes. So I guess this is more of like where you come from and the things that others have done for you to get you to where you're going. I don't know. I
So
had a better connection with 2.
I just remember this was like introducing us to Big Boss, and we were all super excited. And then I remember 4 came out, and it just kind of like not shit on it, but kind of like yeah, I would say 4 kind of like shit on the whole process of it because like I remember this coming out, we were like, oh, we're gonna know so much more about what's going on and why it's all happening. I remember seeing Ocelot and freaking out, and then after that, it's just kind of like, oh, nothing really changed.
I love that he didn't rock the revolver until Snake got after him about it.
Yeah,
Like that scene, the scene we're watching right now is the one where Revolver kind of reveals himself as not being who he truly is. And then like I think he does something here that like either he clips himself and then Snake's like, "Oh, the way you turn your hand, you need to be a revolver guy."
no, I think it was he tries to fast reload, like he tries to slide
Yep, yep.
the case into the gun, and it gets jammed, and Snake's able to take him down and tells him, oh, if you want to do stuff like that, you need a revolver, and then he takes his advice.
Yeah, he's like, "If you want to be flashy, kid." I've always loved their dynamic.
Not only that, but the other thing that makes me I remember in this game is it's the first time in a long time that I can think of that in the scene at the end when you're flying away and he has that showdown with you where he hits one bullet and one gun
I
and then
forgot about
starts
that.
to shuffling all 3. You actually have to watch the scene to know which. I mean, I think it's the same gun every time, but you have to watch the scene to know which gun you have to pick to get the bullet.
I completely forgot about that scene.
Yeah, that's the one part of the game I remember. I'm just like, that's really cool because I remember as a kid thinking, oh, this is so hard. And then I remember, I think you actually showed me, like, you have to watch the scene. And I was like, I didn't know you could actually have to watch the scene to know which gun you had to pick. It's so cool.
And then the thing that always stuck with me was the fight with the boss, just in that field of flowers, and
Oh, yeah. That and the
it's
whole Shagahad fight scene, that was pretty cool
Shagohod.
too.
Oh, it's so and like the Shagohod chase, and then after the chase, you have to like escape through the woods while like dragging Eve with you.
Yes, it was such a good game.
November 21st, Metroid Prime Hunter's first hunt. I think this was a
DS exclusive.
DS exclusive. DS came out at this point. We'll get to that though when we get to
Yeah.
the news. Speed round November. WoW came out. Guys, we're not pulling up WoW. You've seen WoW.
You know what it
Go
is.
YouTube WoW. Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls. So those were remakes, right?
Yeah, there's remakes of 1 and 2 for the GBA. So better pixels, additional content with 2 once you beat the game. They had like a epilogue story where you follow all the characters who died in the afterlife and you kind of follow up through like what they did to help the characters in the original game.
Mhm.
So yeah, just a lot of cool stuff.
December 2nd. Josh, you love Prince of Persia. This is Portia. Prince of Persia Warrior Within. Godsmack.
The,
Pretty good song in there.
the best soundtrack in any of the Prince of Persia's, the best gameplay, except for I think the first one did better with the reverse. Like the rewind in this one was a little weird, but I think it's just because you're also dealing with the shadow being. I
Dahaka.
can't remember saying. Yeah, Dahaka. You're dealing with him, so I know it's a little different, but honestly, all in all, great. And then I also had multiple endings.
Just so edgy. It was so edgy, and I loved it for it. It knew what it wanted to be.
It was the Prince on Suicide Watch.
I wish. Yes, it was. I wish
It very much
Assassin's
was.
Creed would be. I wish they'd do an edgy Assassin's Creed.
They will once everything dies down, and it's just the loyal fan base, not people who are like, "Oh, it's Assassin's Creed, it's the greatest series ever."
December 5, Mario Party 6. Mario's Party's still not been shut down. That man is still going.
Hey, the new one's good.
Oh, the top Mario Party games or
The
whatever it's called.
Super
Super
Mario Party. Yeah, I actually have it. I've enjoyed it so
I
far.
might have to play that next time I come over. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2: The Sith Lords, which is crazy because the first one just came out. This was Obsidian's first game, I believe.
And it was really buggy and had issues, but it was still well received.
So basically an Obsidian game.
Yes, I mean it wasn't. So the first one obviously was the best. If everybody's going to sit here and argue about it, but this is what put them on the map.
Their designs for Sith Lords between these two games, like because Malik was cool, and I forget is it No, Darth Raven is the twist
Darth
guy.
Ray was twist guy at the first one, yeah.
Uh, I forget what the two bad guys in this one are called, but like their design, the guy with the cracked face, and then the guy with like the kind of like insidious looking face.
Yeah.
Great designs. December 7th, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Yeah, a Kingdom Hearts sequel. Get ready, they're coming.
Yeah, and honestly, it was different. I enjoyed the first Kingdom Hearts. I got this one too at Christmas as well. Played it, loved it. Haven't really played it since. And I did the PS2, I say remake, but they just basically ported it over to the PS2 with Kingdom Hearts graphics. It was fun. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good card game.
it's a card game. December 8th, Beautiful Joe 2. We showed you Beautiful Joe 1. You don't need to see 2.
Oh, you hurt my heart.
Well, you don't want to see the video?
No, you skipped one.
Oh, something about X8 Dr. Light. We're no Mega Man, Josh. No more Mega Man. That would be number 4.
Yes.
Beautiful Joe 2 is December 8th. We're ignoring Josh's Mega Man. December 15th, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Budokais are okay. They weren't no Tekaichi.
Yeah, that's where that's where there was a power hitter for sure. Was it Budokai that had the storyline where like you had the map and you had to go through it, or was that Tenkaichi that had that?
Tekaichi had the map. Budokai, like,
Okay.
they kind of were just retelling all the sagas, but they were doing some weird stuff with it.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just remember one had the map and one didn't. So
Let's see here. So then December 22nd, NFL Street 2. I am going to play this video because I wanted you to pull it. I wanted to see how cool it was still.
one of the opening things that cracked me up. So is that your man?
Josh, have you seen Murderville on Netflix?
I have not.
Watch the Marshawn Lynch episode.
Okay. That's my guy. Yeah, don't worry about it. He's big.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is a fun game. Just stupid old like. Yeah, we have the license, but you know what? We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna play some football.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I remember playing it a lot.
Oh, I miss it. And then rounding out the group, we have Gary's Mod. Do you want me to pull up this video of Gary's Mod?
You don't have to. Everybody should know what Gary's Mod is. Honestly, I just didn't realize it was this old.
Explain
2004.
to me what Gary's Mod is real quick for.
Okay, so Gary's Mod basically takes all the source code. So you got like Half-Life, Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike, anything you think Valve made basically, put it in one game, and then basically think of Prop Hunt.
Think of what?
Prop Hunt?
Prop Hunt?
Have you never played Prop Hunt?
I have never played Prop Hunt.
Prop Hunt, basically you pick something and like, so you start like, usually it's like a character in a T-pose. Like if, for example, the most common thing is the scientist in T-pose. So you go around the map, you find an object, let's say like a plant, you click, you become the plant and you hide, and you have all these people like hunt you down, and they have to find out who the real props are and kill them. That's Prop Hunt.
I just saw Goku hunting down a radio.
Yes. So Gary's Mod is essentially known for Prop Hunt, but you can do some cool stuff. People have built like games out of it. They've made like one I did with everybody, like CS:GO, for example, has a bunch of maps you can import, and one thing we played on there was they made like a remember when we were making that stupid phrase, I can't remember what it was, but it was like, oh my god, I am dead, something like that. Remember when me and Mikey and Matt were doing that?
I recall, yes.
Yes, so that's where it came from. Was someone made a Gary's Mod of a map for CS:GO, and it was hilarious.
Oh my god, I am dead.
They use oh my god, I am dead. It was something like that. Yeah. But it was hilarious. If I can pull up some more, I'll show you. But yeah, basically Gary's Mod just lets you take all this stuff and do whatever you want. But it's more well known for Prop Hunt. That's one of the bigger things.
Basically a sandbox.
Yeah, exactly.
And then rounding out the group of 2004, December 28th, Gran Turismo 2, or I'm sorry, Gran Turismo 4, where it started to go downhill for Gran Turismo, I feel like.
Yeah, I think after 3, it just kind of like, I don't even think, is it even still being currently made?
I think they're working on a new one right now.
They need to stop.
Yeah,
Forza is the same way though. I think it's Forza too, but I mean,
Forza at least took a break, but yeah, Forza's kind of like, I know Horizon 5 is hitting it off big for them, but it's like, guys,
I just miss the good old days when it was just like strictly racing on tracks. Like that's what made Gran Turismo 1 and 2 and Forza 1 and 2 so good.
I think Forza 4 was probably my favorite for the longest time. Oh man, Josh, we're gonna have to
This has been
talk
a
about
year.
we're gonna have to talk about how many games you pull in an episode. 'Cause I think I just pulled my back out.
Hey, I tried to start it out. All right. Honestly, like I said, I thought 2004 was gonna be a sleeper, but between the GameCube and honestly the Xbox, there was a huge amount of games.
Hey, if we missed anything that you guys thought like, oh, you should have brought it up, you bastards, let us know. Hit us up on the socials. Hit us up wherever you can find us, and tell us we fucked up. Josh, how about we get into the news?
Yeah, let's power through it.
News.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news. All right. January 20th, Wired Vaporware Award gives its first Lifetime Achievement Award to reoccurring winner Duke Nukem Forever, which came out eventually. Oh, man, that game. That's a big old punching bag. February 26th, Castle Wolfenstein creator Silas Warner dies at age 54. Very young. Very young.
Very.
So, RIP, my dude. March 4th, Academy Interactive Arts hosts 7th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards and inducts Peter Molyneux into the Hall of Fame. Just some more stuff about stuff. Game Developers Conference hosts 4th Annual Game Developers Choice Awards in March. And Game Network's 6th Annual Independent Games Festival. May 11th, Nintendo officially announces its Revolution, later named Wii console. Josh, do you have a link for me for that?
I've only got the one about
Zelda.
with Miyamoto. Yeah, I got the one at the bottom of the list.
Oh, it's at the bottom. It's on the file.
Yeah, it's on the file, just at the very bottom of the news.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pull that up right now.
You might have to fast forward a little bit because it has the guy talking about some gang stuff. But once you get past it, it's literally the announcement.
Did you just call Reggie some guy?
I just pulled the video. I didn't see who the video was from. All right.
Hold on, I'm turning this up. This is a banger.
Don't forget to show it to the folks who are watching.
Yep. I got the people.
But before you leave, I'd like you to step inside one more world for Nintendo GameCube.
Oh, this was so good back then.
Honestly, now it's still nice. I think this is like one of the last Zelda games besides Skyward Sword that we got.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shigeru Miyamoto.
I was gonna say, I remember people losing their freaking minds.
I'm not Link.
I'm not Link. Great opening. Great opening line.
I mean, let's face it though. Like that was like, so the last 3D Zelda game they had was Majora's Mask, right?
Wind Waker.
Oh yeah, Wind Waker, fail. Okay, but I mean, I guess maybe in that style because that was a similar style, just more updated graphics.
Right.
So,
A few more news things. I honestly think that was the moment of 2004 right there. If I'm being honest.
yeah.
Let's see here. August 3rd, we'd already talked about Doom. August 12th, EA launches multi-platform FIFA Football. Last major title to be released for the original PlayStation console. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like almost 4 years after PS2 comes out. November, Counter-Strike and Half-Life changed the first-person shooter genre. We knew that. November 5th, Nobu Uematsu resigns from Square Enix, becomes freelancer, starting his own business called Smile Please, which I don't know anything about them. Do you know anything about them?
I don't know anything about the company now, but
Okay.
Nobu's like he was like one of the bigger names at Square Enix for the longest time. He helped create a lot of the games.
November 17th, Atari releases Atari Flashback, which I'm guessing is
That's like
newer
their
version of their console.
basically, yeah.
And then we got two heavy hitters here at the end. Nintendo launches a Nintendo DS handheld in the US with an advanced remake Super Mario 64 DS. That was big. That
That was huge.
It's a big old one. And then December 12th, Sony launches PSP in Japan and would soon bring that everywhere statewide in 2005, EU in 2005 as well. It's bonkers, man, that those both came out like within a month of each other.
The PSP and the PS Vita are still really popular in Japan.
Well, it's because you can like hack into them and do hacker stuff and play whatever you want on them.
I did that as well. No, but I'm saying like, so the PSP not so much now, obviously because of the Vita. The Vita is actually still sold brand new in a lot of the areas in Japan.
Really?
Where like if you go to the US, obviously no one has a new copy, and if they have an old PS Vita, they'll sell it or just get rid of it because they don't care. But it's like, no, it's still huge in Japan.
So we need to go to Japan and get all the Vitas.
Honestly, I've looked online just to see how much it would cost to get one. Normal cost is like $100, but it's the shipping that gets you. It's like $60 in Japan.
Yeah, that's nasty. I wouldn't.
Basically, be stuck buying. Yeah, if I ever go to Japan and they have it, yeah, I'll go buy. I want to get an orange one. Orange one looks really cool.
Oh, that does sound sweet. All right, Josh, delete one game from history and like so. Basically, what is if you could only keep one game from 2004? What are you keeping?
Twin Snake.
And I'm gonna keep Snake Eater.
Metal Gear wins. Cool.
Metal Gear wins. And if you're deleting one game, what are you deleting? My choice is Mario and Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah, it's got to. Okay, since you picked that one, I'm gonna go with WoW.
Damn.
It's just people hype it up so much. I've played it several times to try to get into it. It's not my cup of tea. And even then, I don't think it's done anything revolutionary enough to keep it.
Yeah, I don't see the appeal of MMOs. Like, I want to have an end to something. I want to know that there's an end to something. Now, if you're playing like a multiplayer competitive thing, like you're playing to like play other people, but the MMO like model of it, just like it just seems weird.
Yeah, for something that has a monthly subscription, I mean, like, yeah, you could say the same thing about RuneScape, but at least with RuneScape, you can earn your membership. You don't have to like necessarily pay it. You know what I mean?
It's also probably partially why I hate Destiny, because it kind of feels like, oh, this is WoW, but with guns. I'm not really doing anything here except for killing the AI with my friends. Like, don't get me wrong, I love co-op, just not that kind of co-op.
Yeah, I mean, PvE has to be something special. It can't be just Destiny PvE.
All right, Josh, it's quiz time.
All right.
I'm going to pull it up on the screen. I'm not going to look at it yet. Put it up for everybody. We're going to put a PDF of this up for the folks at home who want to play along. So Josh, make sure you do that.
Yep.
Let's see here. All right. So I'm scrolling down. I'm guessing I'm naming these people.
You are naming them. It is Mega Man characters, and it's just not specifically like Mega Man X or Mega Man. It's Mega Man in general.
How many of these are there?
2, 5. There are 7. I made it simple 7.
And how many do I need to get to pick the game for my speed cap?
If you get 3 of them.
If I get 3 of them, and if I don't get 3 of them, you pick the game.
Correct.
Okay. First one I know from the cartoon, that's Proto Man.
Okay, perfect.
I think this guy's called Sigma.
That's 2.
That is that X?
Nope.
0. That's 0.
That's 0.
Ah, fuck. This is Mega Man's dog.
I need a name.
Mega Dog.
Nope. Rush.
This guy, I don't know the pronunciation. It's either bass or bass.
That's 3. So you've got your 3. So you got 2 more left.
That's Professor Wile Coyote. No, it's just Professor Wile.
That's Dr. Light.
Ah, Dr. Light, you son of a bitch. That's Professor Wile.
That's Dr. Wile.
Dr.
Why do you
Wile.
keep saying professor? It's doctor.
He's got a lab coat.
They didn't get their PhDs for you to call them. Oh,
I
made
win.
that too easy. Honestly, I originally was sticking with since Mega Man X8 was on there, I was going to stick to the bosses on there. Then I was like, no, that's going to be too hard. And I think I just made it too easy, though.
I win.
I'm shocked you didn't get 0, though. I'm shocked you got Bass, or Bass, however you pronounce it. But the fact that you didn't get 0, I'm like, how? We've done like 3 of his games now.
For some reason, that just, I've seen him so many times that it's just one of those dumb things in my head that's stuck in my head forever.
Fair enough.
And it's like, no, I want you out. I want you out. Please get out of my head.
Well, don't worry. We're getting to the point now where Mega Man games are becoming more scarce. I think that was like the last X games.
Oh, thank God.
And I think 0 only has... Technically, I think he only has one more game before we get into like the ZX series, which I think is not until like later DS, early 3DS.
Trying to think of which game I want. 2004. Let's go ahead and do da 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 da. I'm going to pick. We're gonna do Twin Snakes. We're gonna do Twin Snakes. I feel like I can do a better Twin Snakes than I can Snake Eater.
Yeah, well, I mean, Twin Snakes is basically one,
It's
so
more contained. It's more contained.
Yes.
I feel like. All right, this episode got long in the tooth. This is a long one for all you lovely supporters out there that love listening to us. Once again, I am Nick. You can find me on Twitter at That Kaufman or Nick Fat Knight. I'm also on Twitch as Nick Fat Knight. Josh, where can the people find you?
you can find me on Twitch at I'm Josh Saying and Twitter at Josh_saying.
And then once again, if you like what you're hearing, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. The stars and the words will carry us so much further. Can't believe we're on episode 9 already.
We're getting there.
It's crazy. As always, thanks to Alex Marvin Clark for letting us use his song "Hunt 'Em Down" as our intro and outro song. I love it. I love the song. I've listened to it periodically here and there. And
Nick jams out to when he's working out.
And listen, we got a link to his SoundCloud in the show notes, so give that a looky loo. Josh, anything else before we head out?
No, like I said, honestly, I just think there's so many games that come out that we think, oh, those different years. So I thought I gave 2004 no credit, and I think this is the last good year. I think 2005 comes around and it's like GameCube stopped bringing out anything. The Wii had maybe 1 or 2 good ones, and then PS2 and Xbox are getting ready to switch to their new consoles at that point, if I remember correctly.
I preemptively shit on like the upcoming years and say, oh, this is the last year, but I do think 2005 is kind of a downturn compared to the last few.
Yeah, because so Wii comes out, we've got the end stuff or the new stuff, and then with PlayStation and Xbox, it's kind of like their end of life is coming up because we know their new consoles are coming out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, hey everybody, we're smashing game time. Join us next Monday when I do the speed cap for Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Josh will be keeping score. Hey, that's the show, everyone. It's our brains are fried. We'll see you next Monday for the speed cap. Everybody, keep on smashing. It's going to be a smashing game time. Say bye to the people, Josh.
bye, everybody.